YouTube. Get ready to go live on YouTube. Shout out to all my people over on YouTube, guys. This is a special Saturday night space that we're having slash podcast. I want to welcome everybody on X, formerly known as Twitter. Let me give a shout out to you guys over there on YouTube as well, too. Thank you for joining us tonight. We're going to be discussing this huge brawl that they had that took place between Somalis and Black Americans at Minneapolis High School. This thing has been going viral lately. We want to discuss that tonight. I'm not exactly sure what popped off, but it did pop off. For all my people coming in over on YouTube, make sure you guys go ahead and click the notification bell because YouTube will not, I repeat, YouTube will not send out the notifications. Go ahead and like and share tonight's broadcast as well. Leave a comment if you can. Make sure you visit Newstoter.com to stay up to date on breaking Black news in Black America today. Once again, visit Newstoter.com to stay up to date on breaking Black news. I see we got some of our people coming up in the space as well. Shout out to that Negro. Shout out to Black Delegation. Shout out to Andre. I see you down there. Oh Lord, we got professional punter, and I know professional punter. Shout out to you. I know you're gonna leave some comments. You're gonna talk about Thomas Sowell. You're gonna talk about Thomas Sowell is against reparations in the comments section. So shout out to you. I know you're gonna leave that. I know that's your MO. I don't know why you leave it all the time because, you know, whether he's against reparations or not, I personally don't care. I'm for it. So he can be just as much against it as he wants to be. That's not going to sway us or any of us in here in the least bit. So shout out to you anyways. You do what you do. And I'll give you credit for it. You troll the comments sometimes. So, hey, it is what it is. And like Tupac said, the late, great Tupac said, I ain't mad at you. No, I ain't mad at you. If that's what you want to do, if you want to troll the comments with Thomas Sowell, more power to you, brother. But like I said, we're going to be discussing this situation with the actual Somalis and the Black Americans. And people have been asking me today, what's the demographic up there in Minneapolis? What's the they hear that it's a lot more Somalians up there. And like, I don't know. I know that it's a lot of Somalians up there, I heard, but I don't know the actual makeup. I don't know if this was, and you're hearing conflicting reports about this as well too. Some people say this was just a simple fight between, high school kids getting into it, and some people then they start throwing a racial angle into it. I heard people saying that there was a comment, the Jareer comment made that Black Americans apparently had a couple grown-ups that actually got involved. I think one parent actually got into it, and you had another grown-up involved in it as well, too. So, man, it was a melee. It got so bad, apparently, this took place on Thursday, and they shut school down Friday. Normally you shut school down in some kind of weather emergency or something like that, but they shut it down because they had a all-out brawl at this school up here as well, too, guys. So, like I said, we're going to be discussing that tonight. I don't know exactly what's going on. I've been in the comments section. A lot of you guys been leaving comments. And then I also had this one cat, I believe, the Untethered. We kind of had I posted and he started kind of going in, talking about, trying to be smart. And I tried to ignore that first. I tried to ignore his comments. He was like, well, why don't you tell the Black kids to leave the immigrants alone because they're trying to speak proper English and they're not worried about taking Jordans and this and that. And I said, you know what? Come into the space tonight and you tell the people that. You go ahead and you tell them. Oh, no, I'm not. And it just kept going back and forth and this and that. So we had a little back and forth. And, Untethered, if you're out there, come on in here. Come on in here. You had so much to say about Black Americans this, Black Americans that. Like I say, I don't know the whole thing about what went on today. I know a lot of y'all may have seen the video. DJ, I did send you a co-host invite, I think. Okay, I did. I don't know what went on, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to read this article also from the New York Post. And like I said, it was just a complete melee out there. If they have to cancel school because it was such a situation going on, this is still under investigation as well, too. That's why I don't want to go ahead and say too much because nobody truly knows exactly what happened. I heard one of the girls that was participant, and she may have been a Black American. I think she said that it wasn't a racial issue, that she had beef. It was a beef before that she thought was squashed. And, and then, like I say, you start hearing the racial aspect of it. I don't know the tension. I don't know the actual, and that actual, dynamic between Black Americans and Somalis up there in the actual area. Apparently there's a lot of tension. There's a lot of anger. There's a lot of, distrust, a lot of people that simply don't like each other. So, like I said, yeah, guys, we're going to be discussing that tonight. It's going to be just a quick, short space. We want to go ahead and touch up on it. I thought about doing this space tomorrow, but then I said, you know what? I haven't done a Saturday space podcast, whatever you want to call it, in close to a year now. So let me go ahead and touch up on it. I think last time I did it was back in May of 2022. So I'm saying, damn, when I think about it, that's almost 2 years ago. So wow, time really does fly. I'm thinking it was last year, but that's what my mind is at. That's almost 2 years ago. So we're gonna touch up on it. DJ, what's up with you? You up in the space tonight?
Yes, sir. Bright and early this time. What's good, Newstoter family? How y'all feeling tonight? Let's get it.
Yeah, we doing good, man. Like I said, let me go ahead and read this one of the few articles that wasn't actually curated on the Newstoter.com platform. Nonetheless, we went ahead and we put it out earlier today, and like I said, that video's been circulating. I saw the video actually Friday night, and I saw the actual the comments and everything. It was this one, I don't know, it was this very anti-black little segment they had on Twitter, and all you heard was Jareers and Black Americans ain't nothing but gangsters and thugs and yada yada yada, the worst people on earth and stuff like that. So I'm gonna touch up on this article real quick. It's from the New York Times. Can you hear me, DJ? I'm gonna go ahead and read it real quick.
Yeah, you go. You good. Go ahead.
All right, like I said, it's from the New York Times. It's up. It's in the Jumbotron. I haven't put it in the Jumbotron, guys. I will put it in the Jumbotron. It is in the description on YouTube from the people on YouTube. So I do have it in the description. I haven't put the Jumbotron on Twitter X yet, but I will. It's titled "Minneapolis High School Canceled Classes at the Wild Allegedly Race Fuel Brawl Drew in Parents, 2 Adults Arrested." So it's still using the word allegedly, race fuel. And then I'm gonna get on that. I'm gonna get on that whole topic too about, is this actually if it is about it, a word that was said or whatever offensive, is this actually considered a racial type incident? But administrators at Minneapolis High School canceled classes Friday after a pair of allegedly race fuel fights Thursday between African American and Somali students that drew in parents and resulted in the arrest of 2 adults. Crime Watch Minneapolis reported that a fight initially broke out between groups of African American and Somali students at St. Louis Park High School. The school said in a statement that the first incident, which took place during the latter part of the school day, was broken up by teachers and staff. Unfortunately, the situation escalated at the end of the school day when adults, not SLP employees, who were aware of the earlier altercation became involved in another physical altercation with some of the students, the statement said. Crime Watch said the brawl involved some parents. Bree Smith, 22, and Latoya Renelle Milan, 41, were arrested but later released without being charged, the Daily Mail reported Saturday. Milan's daughter, Sinai, said she was punched and kicked to the floor by dozens of students because of a personal beef, denying claims that the fight was racially motivated, but school officials are still investigating the incident as a possibly race-based. Let me scroll down here, guys. Sinai says she argued with a Somalian classmate months earlier, but thought the issue had been resolved, the outlet reported. But then she was told she was going to get jumped. Sinai told KRE 11, and I got punched. I got punched again from the other side. Then one student grabbed me by my neck, and she tossed me, and we're on the floor, and it was just kicks, punches. In my head, it felt like it was going on forever, like I was just scared. Videos on social media show Shania being beaten up, but class resumed after the fight. The situation worsened when Shania's 41-year-old mother with her older daughter showed up because she had apparently learned of the initial fight and wanted to help her daughter. Somehow a second fight broke out, and Latoya Milan, who had an active warrant for theft of services, was arrested but then released less than 5 hours later. Smith, the other adult, was found to have an active felony for aiding and abetting theft and 2 other ongoing cases related to theft, the Daily Mail said. The Minneapolis Star reported that the St. Louis Park Police have not had a dedicated officer on campus since late August, when they were pulled in response to changes in the law governing their use of force. St. Louis Park Police said the adults were behind the second fight, but Milan denied it. Now, the way they're trying to make it look, we're the bad guys. It had nothing to do with race, the mother said. I had nothing to do with anything. It was just trying to get my daughter to make sure she's okay. School officials, however, said they are investigating. We're actively gathering information and working closely with law enforcement to understand the full scope of these incidents, including whether or not incidents were racially motivated. The statement said the high school canceled all classes on Friday and remained closed to students, families, and the public. Wow. So you got parents coming up in here, parents like, hey, my kid's in here strapping, my kid's up here getting beat up. Let me go ahead and jump up in this thing as well, too. Is this thing racially motivated as well, too? Because you got the parents denying it, you got the students denying it. And then you wonder if they do put this thing as racially motivated. Are we talking about hate crimes here? Who's the actual perpetrator? Like I say, it's so much that needs to be unpacked with the situation. It's serious to the fact that they cancel classes at the school. They canceled classes on Friday because what happened Thursday, a couple incidents happened, whatever, this wasn't just your run-the-mill type fights that you had going on. You had people actually coming up in here thumping. So DJ, I know you got your hand up. Brother Moko, I see you up in here. What's up, Black Pressure? What's up to everybody up in the space? Y'all go ahead and tweet the space out as well, too. But DJ, go ahead.
All right. So, yeah, let's talk about the Somali gangbangers up there in that area, too. You know what I'm saying? Because they definitely out there acting like they the Bloods and the Crips. You feel what I'm saying? So how we know they one of these Somali little gangbanger chicks that want to be down with the crew, getting poked in, you know how that go. So you gotta go, put in some work or something like that. So if you said the black mother was the one saying that her daughter originally got jumped, so yeah, it's obviously racial tension there because these folks, you can sit up here and say they asylum seekers all you want, Ilhan Omar, but we already know you don't even advocate for your own peoples up there in that area of the Midwest. Other thing is too, I see you, Brother Moko. Other thing is too, right? Again, let's go back to these Somali gangbangs that's out there in the Midwest. Why ain't nobody speaking on them and what they be doing to black people? You feel what I'm saying? And I understand this is a one-off incident, but those incidents that y'all be gangbanging up there, not just on our folks, y'all gangbang on your own people too. So y'all couldn't do that at home. You couldn't stay home and do that. You fled a war, from war, allegedly, you know what I'm saying, and came here just to do the same thing. So close the border, Freeman candidates only. Close the border, candidates only. Only M&M gang is getting paid, you know what I mean? And it is what it is.
I wish we had somebody up here in the space from that actual area to actually let us know the actual relationship between Black Americans and the Somalians up there as well, too. Like I said, there were a number of posts I saw yesterday, and it was just all it was about Jarirs and Jairs, or however you pronounce it, Jarirs, and it was just all kind of negative connotation about Black Americans and being thugs and gangsters and baby mamas and this and that, whatever. And the people that had these comments, they had it where you couldn't actually comment on. You know how they have these protected tweets and stuff where you couldn't comment in their actual little thread they had going. It was nothing but Somalians in there, so you couldn't actually comment and say anything about it. So I would really, really, really love to know the actual relationship going on. And the crazy thing about this is, if this was, let's say this was just, let's say this was a high school thing, that you had two girls getting involved in a fight or whatever. And now it's to the point that they're talking about that it has to be investigated by, to see if it was racially motivated and stuff. It's made it to the news. You got the Daily Mail and you got the New York Post, talking about this situation right here. So you have to wonder exactly what in terms of the legality and everything involved, what's going to happen, what's going to happen with these students, what's going to happen with the parents even as well too. And as a parent, it would be hard. I understand that you talk about minors up there involved in the actual fisticuffs, but if you have a daughter or a son and that child's being jumped by other kids and stuff, I don't know how easy it would be just to go sit up there and just not do anything about it or say, well, I'm just going to break it up or whatever. You got 4 or 5 people allegedly, and I want to say allegedly, hitting the child and beating the child, and that's your child there. Well, just the actual mother or father and you is going to come out, and you're going to want to go ahead and defend that child that you see getting beat like that. And hey, if a group of people were beating on this girl and her mother came in there and she whacked them, I'm not sure the mother should be getting arrested, to be honest. You can't sit up here, let's not act like kids or your kids can't kill people either. Now let's not act like that or seriously injure them. So we have to look at it from that perspective as well too. Just the parental side of that parent was coming out. Nobody in it. I'm certainly not going to sit up here and watch you. I'm not going to watch 6 or 7 kids beat on my kid and say, well, those kids were 16 years of age. And, if you got your son fighting or maybe even fighting 2 kids, and so you get in there, you get in between and you stop it or whatever. But if your child is on the ground being allegedly kicked and beaten, and we say allegedly, but the video's out, but being kicked and punched and hit and everything else. And, you have to do something as a parent. So, like I say, this situation here, they're still investigating it. But the thing about it is that you see how quick the actual media's got a hold to this, and they've already framed it now as racial. Like I say, we don't know if it is completely racial or whatever, but sides have been taken. And like I say, and even, the people online are saying, hey, you know what? You got the Somali in one corner, you got Black Americans in another corner. So this thing here, like I say, this is escalated. And what in the hell? We heard that the word, I don't know if that was from an actual child said it or allegedly a grown-up said it, but why would any high school kid be sitting up here saying it, especially, let's say you are of Somalian ancestry, you're born here in America. Why would you be saying a term like that anyways? It'd be one thing if your parents were saying it or your grandparents or something like that, but you were born here in America. So why would you be using a term like that? This is a very interesting situation right here. And we hear about the situations up there in Minneapolis and stuff like that, but I don't know exactly. Like I said, I heard that they have a big Somali population up there, but I don't really know the dynamics of it. Somebody asked me about that, but that's why we're discussing this tonight as well too. I want to get everybody's take on this. Also, before I pass it to you guys, let's say that, and I want to get your opinion on this. Let's say that the word Jareer was thrown out there and it got everything jump started. Not saying it did, but say it got it jump started. Would this possibly be what they say racially motivated? Because I know, and this is something that we discuss all the time. If you got a Black American, and then because I was telling my dad about this story today, and my dad would say, well, how can it be racially motivated? My dad's from the old school. Now my dad was, a 50s child. So my dad was like, well, how could this be racially motivated, son, if you got a Somali and you got a Black American up here and, they're both Black? I said, well, Dad, you got to look at it. You like a lot of Somalis don't consider themselves as Black. He said, well, what are they then? He like, they're African. I said, yeah, but a lot of them think that the actual Black term is something made up by white folks as well. They a lot of them, Dad, I'm trying to explain it to my dad. So a lot of them, Dad, actually go by nationhood and go by tribes and things of that as well too. So as you and I see Black, they don't see Black. He's like, my dad, well, he couldn't. To him, this was nonsense. It was foolishness. He couldn't even grasp his head around. He that don't make any sense to me. We all got African blood. I said, yeah, Dad. I say, but the same thing. They don't. A lot of them come over here and they don't. I say, I'm not going to sit here and say all of them feel that way, but a number of them feel like, hey, they're not Black. He's like, then what are they? Are they supposed to be Egyptian or something? I say, I don't know. We in Florida. We don't have a whole bunch of, to my knowledge, up here. So I don't know. But I see we got some hands up. So let's go ahead and pass the hands up. But I was trying to explain it to him, and he was at a loss for words. He couldn't understand that how it could, even if it got to the point, if somebody said an offensive term like that, how could this be a racially motivated when you got 2 Black people? He didn't understand that concept of it as well too. And I'm asking you guys that as well too. If the term Jareer was used and this it popped everything up, do we have a racially motivated crime? Is this racially motivated here? Let me go ahead and get to the hands. I see we got some hands up, and shout out to all you guys up in the space. Y'all definitely go ahead and tweet this space out tonight. It's a Newstoter space. It's a special edition of Saturday night space. We hadn't done it in a minute. So, Polo Styles is on YouTube. Polo Styles says both are not Black. Okay, Polo Styles be wilding. So Polo, what? I'll get back to you, Polo. Oh, he says we are Black Americans. Okay. So I get what you're saying there, Paul. I thought you was gonna say, well, we ain't. I thought Polo was gonna say we ain't black either. We this and that or whatever. I'm like, I'm not gonna get into all of that, but all right. But we got a number of hands up. I'm not sure. Was Mel? I'm not sure who was what. DJ, you know who was in what order?
Ladies first. Go ahead, Mel Cruz. Mm-hmm.
Hey, shout out everybody in the room.
The urban was first, but Mel, I know you live up in this area, so let's go.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, you got the most experience. On the Mel Cruz, y'all follow on Mel Cruz.
$ Newstoter, $ Newstoter. Thanks for letting me speak. So here's what all this, just my view, but here's where all this comes from. Is your girl is from Mogadishu, Somalia. Talking about Elman, however you pronounce her name, Ayan Omar, whatever. They just recently had some drama about the fact that now the Minnesota flag is almost exactly like the Somalia flag. So I think that particular incident, this little clash, is more about we Somali and we about that life and we got United States government representation, but you Black American MFs don't. So they feeling themselves, they smelling themselves, and they think they got it going on. And quietly, hell, they do, because they do. They got representation, and they're feeling good because they even got a flag that backs up where they come from. So I think that's the case. It's unfortunate that the parents, the Black American parents, had to get involved. I think it was 2 women that did get arrested behind being involved. But it's just unfortunate that there wasn't a different way that they could have approached and resolve this issue without them winding up behind bars or needing a lawyer or having to pay bond or whatever. So I just wanted to share that piece.
All right, appreciate that. Thank you, Mel. I appreciate you coming up here tonight as well, too, guys. That article is up in the Jumbotron. I think DJ put it up there, so it's up there somewhere. If you guys, of course, I read it, but if you guys want to go ahead, been getting a lot of traction.
Left side.
Yeah, it came from the New York Post, and like I said, you already got the New York Post, and you already got the Daily Mail involved in actually talking about this as well, too. Of course, I tweet some stuff off from both of them. You have to take it. You have to take what the source comes with so much. Take it is how it is with the sources. The New York Post, we know their stance when it comes to a lot of Black people as well, too, and how their news, the slant that it has on it as well, but. You take it for what it's worth, and just go ahead and try to pick what's out of it. But like I say, this is still a developing story. This is actually under investigation. This is actually pretty damn serious right here, to be honest, guys. So let me go ahead and get to was it DA? DA, were you next?
I can go next. I really appreciate it. So I am from Minnesota, and I tagged both you, WPI and Newstoter, in a tweet on this there's a video that was made a year ago about the Somalian gangs, and it talks about the tribes, it talks about Ilan Omar, because there is history, and I don't know, I think her name is Mel Cruz, the lady that spoke before me. She talked about our flag switching. Yes, that's a very good point. Also, another good point is this didn't happen in Minneapolis. It was St. Louis Park, which just had an election where the mayor is a Somalian who is now the mayor. This is going to be an interesting situation because, yes, there is a lot of Somalian, African, Nigerian, Sudanese, Black American issues. And as well, if people don't understand as well, you have the immigration issue going on, and that only makes things worser. I know that's not a word, but it makes things worse. And I see other people from Minnesota that have gotten in this space that are really good. There's Reverend Tim Christopher, who is about Minnesota. I'm trying to see if there's anybody else in this space, but there is a lot of people that have been talking about this, and there's stuff that has been going on for years. This isn't just something that is new.
All right, appreciate that, DA. Reverend Tim Christopher, if you get a chance, if you want to come up here and speak about it, and just give us your opinion and your thoughts. Like I say, I don't want to jump to conclusions. Like I say, there's a lot that's still going on with this story as well too. I want to find out, was this really racially based or racially infused type of situation that went on, or was it just too, or just high schoolers just getting into it the way high schoolers and young people actually get into it as well too. So definitely for any of our people that's from the Minnesota region that want to come up, and I see Reverend Tim coming up here, so we will definitely get to you, Reverend Tim, because I want to hear your thoughts and your opinion about exactly what's going on with this situation with Black people up in that area, as well as anything else you can tell us about. We will definitely go ahead and get to you. I'm going to get to No Name, Brother Moku, and I'll get to you as well, Reverend Tim. If you have any issue and you drop down, just come back up here and we'll get you back up here. Let me go ahead and get to No Name. No Name, go ahead and unmute your mic.
All right, so I just wanted to jump in to say something. So the first thing with the whole Jareer statement. So the Jareer term is a racial, it's kind of like a slur. And so we have to remember that although these groups may come to America and be classified as Black isn't a classification in most African countries. So Jareer was a term that, Somalia is formed by tribes. Jareer was a term created by one tribe to describe the tribes that had more Black features. So more textured hair, darker skin. It was like a slur to those groups of people. And so it has grown so much that they even call other Africans that slur. So you can hear Somalians calling Nigerians, Ghanaians, etc. that same slur. It's not only specific to Black Americans, it's for people who look a certain type of way. And so those features that they, because it was originally used against other Somalis from a different tribe, but they started using those terms. When they came to America, they use it against us now because back home they consider that tribe to be lower than them because of the way that they looked. So that's just one thing. And I do live in New York. Anyone who knows about New York is we have a high immigrant population. Even living in New York, Somalians and East Africans as a whole, if you ever really do look around, you will notice that East Africans do not really associate with West Africans. So even on college campuses, if there's like an African student union, there will usually also be an East African student union or things like that. So there always has been some type of separation. And now that we're having some of these people come to America, now we're also getting that tribal conflict that they also have back home, in their continent, in Africa. So I do definitely think it's a racial situation. It definitely was a racist remark. I mean, even if if any of you have been on Twitter today and like the situation, the comments, Jareers have low IQs, Jareers don't value education, Jareers don't, all Jareers care about are gangs and money and drugs, etc. So it definitely is racist because no one's going to speak about their own people like that. I would never be like Black Americans don't care about this because why do I talk about my own people like that? So clearly there is some separation already happening. I think there may be some backtrack happening up in Minnesota just to make it not look that way. But there definitely was already a separation. And once again, that was already happening back in Africa. So let's not act like Black Americans are the culprits or Black Americans are the ones, making this, heightening this situation because it's already happening in Africa. And even if any of you know about the London scene, and London is also a really big issue as well. In London, there are high number of Somalian gangs, who are in conflict with the other ethnic groups there. So it definitely, I just don't want us to even entertain the fact that, this is something racial, or is this something that, is being targeted to us because of how we look or because of who we are, because that is what it is. And we have to stop, our classification of race in America is very different than the way that they do it, in other places. I think we have to realize that and remember that. Other places are more tribal. So although we may come to America and be all Black in the eyes of Americans, there still is that tribal background that a lot of other ethnic groups have. And we are a different tribe than them. Black Americans, although we may have the same skin color, etc., I'm lighter than most Somalis, I've come across. So I'm still a Black American. So I think we should just keep that in mind that, we may look the same, but there's history behind that term that they use to separate us from one another. And I'll drop now.
You made a fascinating point, Dan. Before you drop down, I want to say this because I saw some comments and you were talking about how they talk about even how they look. They view themselves different from even West Africans, because I think I saw something where they were calling the Congolese Jareers as well too, and they were putting up pictures, of even some West Africans with gorillas and stuff like that. And when I say they, I'm saying certain Somalis, just to be to be correct here. So I think you make a fascinating point like that too, because East Africans and West Africans, I think a lot of times, even though everybody said, well, I'm from Africa and this and that, they view themselves as different as well too. So I definitely see what you're talking about. I saw, like I said, I've seen the comments for the past couple days and stuff like that. And it's really been, it's really been kind of hard to stomach some of the stuff that people have been talking about on here. So I appreciate you sharing that. And let me just ask you this real quick before I get to Brother Moku. Do you feel like if this was actual if the actual comment Jareer actually started this whole thing, and like I said, allegedly, if it started or whatever, do you feel like this does fit underneath like a racially motivated type crime or situation right here that could have happened as well too? Because like I get what you're saying that, hey, people come over here and then they get the black classification, but they don't feel that way. Do you think that even having melanated people involved, like this could be something that people could say was perhaps racially motivated?
I definitely think it is racially motivated, and that's why we need people who we need people like us in these spaces who are actually have like the in-depth knowledge, because blackness is not a monolith. And anyone, like when I see people talking about Africa, if you look at Africa, most of the problems that happen in Africa are against different ethnicities, different tribal groups. Race was never a factor. If you go to an African country and ask them what they are, they're going to give you an ethnic group back. And so we have to start looking at that. I mean, even when we take it like to the bring it to the diaspora. Look at Haiti versus DR, that ongoing battle. They both, have African descent, but it's still that tribal mindset. So we definitely have to start realizing that race is more complex. And I want us to also remember that race is a social construct. At the end of the day, race is a social construct. So we decide what race is. And there have even been studies, like if you want to go by phenotype, most Somalis don't have the same phenotype that most of us have. And that's why the term Jareer and stuff never even included or even created, because they have a different phenotype. They look differently than most West Africans, most Caribbeans, etc., Black Americans look. So I think we need like people to, as we start having more immigrants come to this country, right now we have less than 200,000 Somalians in America right now. Eventually that number is going to get higher as they reproduce, as more come from their homes, etc. As we start having more people come to this country from these different backgrounds, we have to really start updating our standards on what is race, updating our standards on what is Black, and knowing the differences, because there's also inter-community issues at hand that as long as we keep acting like we're all the same, we're ignoring those issues and ignoring the discrimination as well, because we're so focused on discrimination based on race. Many of us are being discriminated based on our origin. I think we have to grow with the times.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate that. No name. Reverend Tim, I see you drop down, but if you get a chance to come back up here, like I say, you're from that area, so I would love to hear from you. But I can understand if you maybe have something that you're doing right now. But if you definitely get a chance, definitely come back up here and just share some information with us. Let me go ahead and get to Brother Moku. Brother Moku, what's going on, bro? I saw you had a space earlier.
Yeah, appreciate you for letting me speak, Newstoter. Hope y'all can hear me clear. I'm going to first start off by saying, if you are not clear about what racism, white supremacy is, how it works, everything else will only confuse you. I want to say and keep harping on the appreciation that I have for you and DJ holding these spaces gives me the motivation to hold my spaces. And I just want to say that words are very important. Race classification is only in place to practice racism, white supremacy. That's according to the evidence. Forget Brother Muko. It's not according to me. It's according to the evidence that I see and the evidence that I hear throughout spaces, non-white and white, and throughout the victims of racism, white supremacy, which I am one of. This is a clear case of race classification confusion. when I see a non-white person acting as if they are, say, white or suspected white supremacists, I clearly see a mental impairment. That is not shots out to anyone. This is just me being honest. I think the victims of racism, white supremacy need to get more serious about dismantling the system of racism, white supremacy. And I suggest by first constantly questioning each other and others about their meaning of racism, white supremacy. I hear it being talked about a lot. And even when I share the meaning that, best fits white supremacy to me and according to counter-racist logic, you run into a lot of sidestepping. And what I mean by sidestepping is some of us victims acting like it's bigger than racism, white supremacy, or that white supremacy doesn't even exist. We have a problem with words. We get emotional. We need to stop being emotional and really take a look at what's happening. This right here is a clear cut of, I don't look at this as black on black crime, non-white on non-white crime. I look at it as racism, white supremacy, because you always have to remember the instigator, meaning the ones who created the confusion. Okay, it made the confusion possible. And one other thing I want to add in our land is that dismantling the system of racism, white supremacy is all about the ability to be harmed. This is what racism, white supremacy is about. It is about the position, being in a position to harm. Now, this is a very important part about my landing. We are not fighting to be equal to the BS. We're not fighting to be equal to racism, white supremacy. In other words, we are not fighting to be black supremacists. There's no way that black supremacy can exist while white supremacy is in existence. That's what the word supreme means. It's about positioning. The position and the ability to harm another individual that you classify as non-white. You who, Brother Muko? Me, the white supremacist. That's who. Non-white victim of racism, white supremacy. No matter what you call yourself. Whatever you call yourself, guess what? I made it up for you to call yourself that. See, we cannot forget the racist white supremacists in the room. And we get so much that we forget about them that we almost start defending them. Okay? I just had a space earlier where I almost had a brother defending white supremacy by saying it didn't exist. Talking about the collaborators. Words are very important. The only way we're going to take this ball to the next stage is by really paying attention to our words, aka taking control of the language. You cannot use confusionary language and think you're going to get constructive results. I'm going to repeat that. You cannot use confusionary language to get constructive results. It does not. It does not exist. Absolutely does not exist. And I'll land there. Thank you for letting me speak, man.
No problem. I appreciate you as always, brother. I want to read one tweet real quick, and this is from DJ, not WPI, but another DJ, and he tweeted this. He says, "I didn't look into the backstory much at all, but I can promise you, the white oppressors love to see the oppressed fighting one another." That was his opinion, and that was his view on the situation that's going on right now. Real quick, guys, up in the Jumbotron is a YouTube channel, and I believe somewhere on the left-hand side, if you have not subscribed to the YouTube channel, please go ahead and subscribe to it. For those that can support us on Cash App, $Newstoter, $Newstoter. Newstoter is the largest Black-owned Black American news media curation platform today in America. Once again, $Newstoter. Make sure you guys visit newstoter.com daily to stay up to date on breaking Black news in Black America as well, too. Once again, newstoter.com. Newstoter.com. For those that do not have Cash App, we have the Venmo and PayPal up in the Jumbotron. Same for my people on YouTube. Definitely visit Newstoter.com to stay up to date on breaking Black news. Support us on Cash App, $Newstoter, $Newstoter. If you do not have Cash App, we have the Venmo and PayPal in the description. Let me go ahead and get you. I see Dana up in the space. So shout out to Dana. I see you down there, Dana. If you get a chance, Dana, definitely come up here because I would love to hear. I know you're not in Minnesota, you in New Jersey, but I would love to hear your take on this story as well too. Let me go ahead and get to real quick and shout out to Brother Moku for his contribution on Cash App as well to Maintenance on Wheels. Let me go ahead and get to Black Pressure. And like I say, Reverend Tim, if you get a chance to come back up here, like I say, I would love to just hear what you have to say. Being a resident up there as well too, definitely would love to get your insight on the situation and the actual interaction between Black Americans and the Somalis. So if you definitely get a chance, we would love to hear what you got to say. And anybody else from that region, that area up there as well too, guys, please feel free. The microphone is yours. We would love to hear your insight on this situation as well too. I want to hear my boy Black Pressure, but Pressure be so quick and whatnot. He gets straight to the point. So Pressure, like, he gonna say what he gotta say, and it's like he's like the line drop around. He gonna drop his lines and he gonna be out. But Pressure, what's up? It's a Saturday. I know you're not used to being up in the Newstoter space Saturday. Hell, we ain't used to having spaces on Saturday, but like I said, we had a space. It's going on 2 years since we did a space on a Saturday, I believe. So,
the villain had to come over to say something on the Saturday.
I got to hear what Pressure got to say. It's gonna be quick and to the point, though. What's up, Pressure?
Texas, Nackers, Texas.
You already know. What's up, Black family? What's up, News? Hey, News. Why every time I get ready to talk, every time you do a 10-minute promo before it's my turn to talk, man?
Because you ain't gonna be up in about 30 seconds.
Check me out. Look. So a couple of things I'm gonna touch on. All right, and you know what my passion is. You know it's Black people. You know that, okay? So let me say this: race is absolutely not a social construct. The word race is a newer word in the Western culture vernacular. I guess that would be the proper term. That is new. But the debate of race is as old as human beings themselves. You could go back as far as you want to go back, and race is debated. No matter if you want to use house, seed line, ancestry, whatever words those antiquated words you want to use for race. Race is not a social construct. There are absolutely differences in people groups. No one would look at a Croatian, then look at a South African and say, same person to me. That is nonsense. Race is absolutely a real thing. It's just the word race is new. It's new in our language. But moving on, right? So check this out, New. You and I are in the same age bracket, right?
Yes, sir.
How many times, let's just say high school. I grew up in Texas, right? Probably one of the last few places where people still fist fight you. How many times in high school, I can't count the number of fist fights I've seen. And you know what they never did? They never shut a damn school down. I believe absolutely that was, I guess we say race. I don't know. I don't want to disrespect anybody. A lot of those Somalis, and they say they're Arabs and shit, but we know they're of the Negro seed line or bloodline, whatever you want to use. But have you ever heard Ben and Tyreek Spaces when he would play those recordings where he would go in those Somali spaces and they would be calling them Jareer and all that?
Yeah.
I absolutely believe that school district shut the school down because they feared a powder keg. They knew that if they didn't get ahead of this was going to blow over. Like, you look at us, take Black people in America. We really, to be brutally honest, we sick of that shit. We done heard white people done called us that for 150 years, right? When do you get fed up? That's why I was talking to my sister about this not too long ago.
I was saying like all the the black foreign people groups that come here and they have their little disrespectful racial terms to us. I told my sister, I'm gonna bust that black person ass first before I bust the white person ass, because I expect that from a white boy. I don't expect that from you. So I absolutely believe it was racial, and whatever happened to them Somali kids, they deserved it. You don't come out here running your mouth about a people group that built this country for you and made a way. Not only built it, died so you can come here. And you come here and disrespect. I'd have done the same thing if I was young again and went to that school, and I land my plane.
Pressure, you made some great points, and let me get to the point that you made about, because I'm from Florida, and like you say, Texas, Florida, synonymous with these boys putting them hands on you, like, I mean, in a heartbeat. So I can't think of how many fights I've seen in high school, either high school, elementary, middle school. And you're right. The year before I got to my high school, they had a race riot with black and white. They didn't shut the school down. The year after I graduate, they had a race riot at my high school and they didn't shut the school down. So, you know, it had to be something serious. Like I said, because I was like, well, was this really just, you know, just maybe just two girls or whoever, kids getting into it, thumping or whatever, fighting or whatever? But you made a point that I can't ignore. Like, I've seen countless people get their behinds whooped at school. Never, ever, ever was a school shut down. Like I said, and I've seen middle school. I've seen it all. Like, I mean, if you were to actually talk about the amount of fights that happen in schools, you're talking about at least back in the day, who knows, dozens of fights took place in high school or whatever. And, you know, you're right. They never, ever, ever shut it down. So you made a valuable point right there. I've listened to those recordings and some of the, like that, you're right, in the spaces with Tariq and stuff like that. And like I said, I even saw a lot of comments and stuff yesterday that was talking about black this, black that, the Jareer this, Jareer that, or whatever. So, you know, you made some very, very valuable points that I can't really refute right there. I mean, you were on point with that. So I got to go ahead and no,
let me say this too. The points I made, they're not from academia. It's literally from life experience and observation. Black people know what our eyes see. I don't have to sit down in someone's university to know the things that I know, and I'm gonna mute up and listen.
All right, appreciate that. I said we got and let me give a shout to Francisca. She donated earlier. I wasn't online, but thank you, Francisca, for your contribution on Cash App as well too. Appreciate that. Reverend Tim, can we I see you up here to speak. Can we get some info from you about what's going on up there in that area between the blacks and the Somalis?
Yeah. Hey, thank you very much, Newstoter. Thank you for the follow. Also, I followed you back. I appreciate you.
I've been following you for a while. Yeah, I've been following you for a long time.
I'm sorry, brother. I didn't even realize.
Yeah.
I listen to you all the time. You know, I come in, I listen to you. Your information and everything. So I thank you very much for that.
Thank you. I appreciate that, sir.
Yeah. So you got a lot of things have been said. Let me start off with the flag first, because that has been talked about. If you look at the Ethiopian flag, where a lot of the people who are here are from, it is a red. It's a green, white, and red flag. And
excuse me, Reverend Tim, you got like a blinker signal on or something? Or hold
on 1 second. I'm trying to get in my car here with my. Had to go pick the wife's food up. I'm sorry about that.
No problem.
Hold on.
For sure.
Hold
on 1 second.
I just wanted to make sure it wasn't me going crazy. You know what
I mean? So let me just move that myth out of the way that, you know, this is all about a flag. It's not. What this is all about, and I want people to understand, is here in Minnesota, they basically moved black people out of the way. And they brought these Somalis in and basically put them in our positions, man. And that, if you go look at our city council in Minneapolis, it's basically going to be run in a few years by the Somalis. They have come into Minneapolis with that mindset of dominate take over mentality. And the white Democrats here in Minnesota has given them that roadmap to do that. Because what they did, people, is they brought the Somalis in here. They moved them into the black space on Riverside. They gave them that whole area over there. They basically chased the black people out of Riverside. And they put all the Somalis in there. When the Somali people start growing, what they did is start moving them around the states of Minneapolis. And then they started moving them all the way to another city called St. Cloud in Minnesota here. They've basically taken over St. Cloud. One of the things that you guys can definitely look up is the Feed Your Future program. It was a program that the Somali community was running. They gave the Somali community all of this money. I'm talking millions, bro. Millions and millions of dollars. They was taking that money, sending it back home. They were buying cars, boats, houses, and every other thing with it. Not only that, but they also got caught in the daycare fraud. They was giving them millions of dollars for this daycare fraud. And they got caught up. They got caught up in that also. But the bottom line is coming down to is you have these Somali kids coming over here, basically taunting the black kids. The school that this happened in was a Jewish community, pretty much all Jewish community. And that school was basically a white school. So the reason they pretty much shut that school down is they did not want the black kids to come back up there and start kicking, excuse my language, but I'm going to put it this way. They didn't want them to come up there and start kicking ass again. It scared the white community of St. Louis Park. Now, let me tell you something else about St. Louis Park. Slowly but surely, they had started moving Somali families into St. Louis Park to the point to where the Somalis voted in a Somalian mayor. Never happened ever in the state of Minnesota. But now, St. Louis Park, a very rich neighborhood. I'm talking money. This is a money neighborhood. They voted in a Somalian mayor because they had so many Somalian people over in that area now. But they're basically, here in Minnesota, the white Democrat has taken the Somalians and basically replaced them with the true African Black American here, right here, has completely changed it. I mean, changed the whole map of everything. So what the lieutenant governor likes to do, the white lieutenant governor here in Minnesota, is she loved to say the word BIPOC. She loved to say people of color. So this way, when we are getting things, when things are specifically for Black Americans here in Minnesota, the Somalian community, the African community are digging their hands first in the barrel before Black people even get anything. Now you say, well, what are you doing about that? Well, here's the problem that we have here in Minnesota. Our Black legislators are in it. They're in it. They're doing it. They're sitting back. The people who represent the Black community right here in Minnesota sits back and let this happen. They don't say one word. So now our Black leaders running around being all happy because they got us Juneteenth. We get nothing else, but we're supposed to be happy with Juneteenth. And here these Somalians are basically funneling all this money, millions. Listen to me when I say this. Look it up, Newstoter. Millions of dollars. They're funneling millions of dollars back to their homeland. They're funneling millions of dollars to people here in Minnesota, where they're going and buying $1 million houses, $400,000 to $500,000 houses, cars like you would not believe. The white Democrat here in Minnesota, when we were fighting, my church, other black churches in the community were fighting the white Christian church, the Catholic church, who sponsored to bring all of these people over here. We had 2 years of going round and around and around saying, no, you cannot bring them here, because we knew they were not going to put them in white areas. And it's sure enough, they cleaned a whole city blocks and blocks and blocks of black people out of this one area. And they put them basically in that area. Not only that, but Ilhan Omar, the woman who is in Washington right now, call herself doing something for this here state. Look at the bills that she has passed. Every one of those bills has been for her community. Almost every one of those bills has been for her district, where her people are. She's got millions of dollars flowing into that district. There's a beat up there's a beat up community center that's down there, and she's got over $17 million going to this community center. It's pathetic what they have done here. These white Democrats, these white liberals who live outside of Minneapolis, has come in and basically torn the black community completely apart. We don't get
I play the violins
at all. So at the end of the day, what's going on is a bunch of people fighting each other.
Who said that violin shit? What sucker nigga said that?
Hey, hold on real quick, because y'all cutting the Reverend off and you cursing too. So let's chill on the cursing and let's not cut the Reverend off. We'll get to you, Pressure. We got you. Don't worry about it, y'all. Just let the Reverend go ahead and cook, because he's from that area. I'm sorry about that, Reverend Tim. Go ahead and finish what you were saying.
Oh, no, it's all right. You know, you always get pushed back on everything. But I am going to be meeting with that family. One of the families, the lady who's in jail, went to jail. I got her information. I will be dealing with her. That's what I do here. I will be dealing with her, finding out what's going on. Do I believe this is racially motivated? Yes, I do. Because what you guys don't understand, if it had not been in that white area, you would have never heard about this. You don't hear about the fights that they have down in Riverside. You don't hear about the Somali gang boys who come up and fight the gangs here, the black gangs here in Minnesota for their areas and things of that sort. You don't really hear about the Kia boys that's going on, where these Somali boys are going around knocking people out, taking their cars. You don't hear about that stuff. You don't hear about the bridge that they had to close down right here in Minnesota because the Somali boys was over there robbing and stealing and shooting fireworks and beating people up. You don't hear about that. The only reason you heard about this is because it was over there in that white area. That's why you heard about this. You didn't hear about the fight that had over at Patrick's School in Minnesota. You didn't hear about that at all. They didn't talk about that at all. But this isn't new. What you guys are hearing right now is not new. Black kids and Somali kids have been going at it for I don't know how long. This isn't new, people. It really isn't. It happens here all the time. You hear about it now because it was in a white area, because white people got scared and they shut the school down. That is exactly what happened.
All right. Thank you. Reverend Tim came up here cooking. I appreciate that, Reverend Tim. Thank you. I know this is the first time I believe that you've ever spoken in the space, and I'm definitely glad to have you come up in here and share your insight with us about the situation going on up there too. So just like Pressure Reverend Tim also believes it absolutely was 110% racially motivated as well, too. So once again, thank you, Reverend Tim. I definitely appreciate you for coming in here and sharing that information with us. Let me give a shout out real quick to my girl Shannon for always supporting the platform. Thank you, Miss Shannon. Let me go ahead and I'm gonna get to you, Mel, because you were next, but I'm actually get to Jess Cakes because I want to get to the new speaker, and I'll get to you as well. No name, Jess Cakes. How you doing tonight, sweetie?
Can I say something real quick before you go, Just Kick System? Hey, y'all, look, no more outbursts moving forward. This is 2024, man. We're trying to be serious because now you just heard it from Reverend Tim. What's going down? The same thing what folks are saying over here in YouTube land on Newstoter.com on YouTube. Hey, same thing happened in LA. Hey, same thing happened over here in Miami. Hey, I'm saying the same thing happened in New Jersey. I'm pretty sure it's happening in your area, but you're slowly seeing it. Now that we online and we seeing everything in real time, hey, man, we ain't got no time for games and outbursts. Come on, fam. Let's go, man.
Absolutely. Jess Cake, sister, go ahead. You got it.
Hey, Happy New Year, everybody, because I don't think I spoke to y'all since New Year's.
Happy New Year.
Hey, fam. I think it was last year? I'm not surprised about this Somalis and Black Americans. Huh?
Last month, it's springtime is in New Year's and springtime.
Okay.
For those that don't know, you know what I'm saying? That's Black American inside stuff. They don't teach us that stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's just a new mic. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
We're working on a Roman calendar. You know, look it up. There you go.
Okay, cool. Thank you. So I'm not surprised about the fact that the Black American kids is fighting with the Somalis and stuff like that. The only thing that's going to change is the demographic, because America, as we all know, has never stopped waging war against the Black American or the Native Black American. That's why they keep importing these people that's so anti-Black, even if they appear to have black skin. Last year, I took my son on our first family trip to Minnesota. And one thing that stuck out of my mind was like, I wonder what all of them.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What happened? No.
Okay. But I took him to Minnesota for the family trip. And the one thing that stuck out in my mind is I was just wondering where all the Black people was at. You see nothing but musty, big forehead Somalians and Eritreans, or whatever you call them, the people that was on what's his name, Captain Phillips, those people, okay. And they are very anti-Black. You go to Walmart. When I tell you, we have a tendency as Native Black people, we look for our own. You know what I'm saying? And I just wondered, like, I know Minnesota was one of those places that was predominantly Black. That's one, and you didn't see them, and the energy that comes from these people is just like it is online. It ain't as bold, you know, but I was expecting for it to go up at any given time. My old man, he know how I roll, so we didn't. I really didn't enjoy Minnesota like I did New Orleans or other places. Just like the person said before, it happened out in Cali. Their demographic was Hispanic. Minnesota is the Somalis and stuff like that, and New York is everybody that's coming against them. So we're going to see this a lot more. It's going to be Black Americans versus who next. That's what it's just going to come down to. We just got to be prepared. It ain't, we got to stop being surprised and just get prepared. That's just what time it is. The only people we can depend on is ourselves, and you can't go wrong like that. I'll end it there. Thank you.
Thank you, Jess Cakes. I appreciate you. Let me go ahead and get to Mel. Mel, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Thank you, because I'm telling you, this cayenne pepper is caliente. Okay, I'm the one that came out with the sucker outburst, Black Pressure, because, and Black Pressure, I follow you, I love you, like everything you be saying. I came with the outburst because Reverend Tim. Now, I'm just gonna keep it a whole milli willy with you, man. I'd have been in one or two spaces that you've been in, and you are the official fence writer. And so that what you were saying really just got me super livid, because when we see these type of things creeping up, Black Americans, we're having a hard time trying to prevent this, these people having this level of success. For example, like the flag. I'm the one that came in here and made the statement about the flag, and I felt like, that's part of what has boosted those students and the community's sense of entitlement and, hey, we got this, because they have essentially been able to come over here as an illegal immigrant and alien, switch up a state flag from somewhere they don't hail from. Hell yeah, that's going to give them some sense of, okay, we in control. You got Ilmar Ulnan, however you pronounce her name, just going buck wild, doing whatever she wants to do. Now, all of the situations that you described, Tim, are accurate and problematic. But all of a sudden, it's like, I'm like, dang, is this the same Tim who was in the space caping for the white folks? So, and I would love to be wrong. That's why I said play the violin, because you're reciting the situation and the problem. But brother, right there as a boot on the ground, you weren't making no noise. The amount of noise you made in this space tonight, I never heard you make this kind of noise before. So yeah,
can I
After she finishes, Reverend Tim, I'll let you respond.
I'm about to turn the heat down a little bit, let everything get to simmer on. But my point is that let's keep it 100. And I think what I would appreciate is if you have a new idea, if you change your mind, or now things have hit close to home, then say that first. Say, you know what, I didn't expect this to happen, but it hasn't. So now I've changed my position, because I'm having a hard time buying into anything you're saying based on the fact that what I heard you say in previous spaces, it wasn't in support of Black Americans. It was more of this, everybody deserves a heart is a house is a home, or whatever. It's stuff that don't make no sense, and definitely not what you were saying tonight. So if you had a change of heart, I think that's what I need to hear. That's why I jumped in and said, play the violins. So I'm going to land right there.
Okay, real quick before Reverend Tim, before you respond, guys, like I said, we got 103 people up in here. We definitely need your support. For those that can, donate $1 to the platform, $Newstoter, $Newstoter. Newstoter is the largest Black-owned, Black American news media curation platform today in America. And we're also cranking the heat up in 2024. We're going to keep you guys supplied with content. The only way to do that is to visit the actual site, because we can't post everything off the website into actual Twitter and social media. So we need our people to crank up the heat as well to see these stories. Go to the website and actually share them out. We got the sharing icons, share them in the Twitter, share them in the Facebook. But we need our people to actually support the platform by visiting and sharing the content onto social media as well too, guys. That's the only way stories can get out there. Support us for those that can, those that can afford it. $Newstoter, $Newstoter. My man Black Delegation is one of my subscribers here on Twitter. Supports and definitely, so shout out to you, but we definitely need that support in 2024, guys, to keep this content churning and rolling out. Same for my people over there on YouTube. For those that can support, $Newstoter, $Newstoter. We got a number of you guys in here that support all the time. I'm not talking to you guys. I'm talking to the guys, the people that come up in here. We need your help as well, too. So for those that can support, once again, $Newstoter, $Newstoter. If you do not have Cash App, the Venmo and PayPal is up in the actual Jumbotron. Same for the people over there on YouTube. It's up in the actual description as well, too. But Black content, Black media needs your support, and we can only survive with your help. The same like PBS, they ask for donations. We can only survive because we're not getting it from ad networks and all that other stuff as well too. So we only survive on your generosity, guys. So we definitely need your help and your support so we can keep this content flowing. Reverend Tim, I know you want to go ahead and respond to that. No Name, I got you as well too, but I got to let Reverend Tim respond to the mail. I know he wants to say something. So definitely, and guys, definitely retweet this space out as well too. This is an important space. So definitely retweet it out for the people that won't get a chance to hear it. They can at least catch the replay. You got it, Reverend Tim.
Oh, okay. Appreciate you. Thank you very much on that. I said this in my last statement. When they first started bringing these people into the state of Minnesota, my church and other churches got together, went up, and fought them coming here and them placing them in our community. I have been up to the state, and we have fought on many, many different occasions on making sure that the same thing that we get, what we get is ours on many, many occasions. I've also have had meetings with young black men talking about the way that they are being treated by these people, talking to them, understanding them. I've had church meetings on these things, and I've been back up to the state, and I've sat there and I've talked to them about exactly what has been going on. Now, if I'm in a gun space or something like that, sure, I'm going to agree, because that's what we're talking about. We're talking about guns and things like that. I get along with everybody. That's another thing I do. I'm about the Second Amendment, and I'm going to fight for the Second Amendment. And the people that I fight with, that comes with the Second Amendment. Matter of fact, I'll be speaking up there in a couple of weeks on the red flag bills. I will be speaking on the background check. I will be speaking on what it's going to take to help our poor black kids who are on the streets shooting each other now. So when people come at me and sit here and say that, like, I don't do anything for my community, I don't do anything for black kids, I just finished up 12 women. I've got guys who help me get women their license to carry and teach them how to shoot. Not only that, we help them purchase. So go look at my website. And if you don't want to look at my website, come on here to Minnesota and see what I do. But I'm not going to go back and forth with somebody who is want to down me for doing the things that I do. I just can't do that. I know what I see here, and I know what I do here, and I know who I try to help and try to bring some type of clarity to, so we can go up to there and talk to these legislators and get them to understand that you can't just push us aside. You just can't do that.
All right.
Can I respond, please?
Mel, let me get the No Name, and then I'm gonna let you respond, because No Name is waiting. I want y'all. Let me let No Name first. Let me give a shout out to 400. Hold on, real quick. No Name. Let me give a shout out to 400, and let me give out a shout out to Janet. I have to give a shout out to the people that support all the time. It just we have to keep that protocol. So I just want to thank everybody. But go ahead, No Name.
I don't mind waiting because they're having like a conversation. I don't mind waiting.
Well, no, you go ahead, because then we even though they're having a conversation, we still want to keep it on the actual topic as well too. So go ahead, and then we'll get back to Mel.
All right. So just to go back to Reverend Tim's original statement when he was speaking about the BIPAC, Black Indigenous People of Color label, and how that was used in Minnesota, etc., when they were like bringing in leaders. I think that is part of the issue, and that is part of the thing that has been really holding us back as Black Americans. That for so long we have been just grouped in with this idea of blackness. So it didn't matter about any differences that you had. If you were classified as Black, you were considered a good representative for us. So individuals like Ilan Ozan, the representative from Minnesota, individuals like that have been given space and have been given these, this access that most Black Americans can't have. And even when we complain about it, we're told, oh, they're Black, as if that's good enough, as if that, makes them able to speak on our history or our customs or our trauma or anything like that. I think that's the issue that a lot of us have, that we, as of now, Black Americans haven't had any real movement that just focused on Black Americans. So issues like this, although I'm sad that those students had to go through that, had to be called a slur, I'm happy that it happened because it's showing us that there are differences in Blackness. There are differences in our community, and we need to highlight that. Because as of now, Black Americans have never really focused on Black Americans. Black Americans were the forefront of the Pan-African movement. We have focused on Black people as a whole. Black people as a whole's oppression, etc., bring us all. We have never focused on what's on our issues, on our culture, on what's affecting us specifically. And that's why we need movements like this. And as you can see, anyone here who has been to college, If you go to any college campus, there's a Black student union. Apart from that, there's also a Caribbean student union. So these other groups notice their differences. They notice their heritages and how they differ from ours, and they take time to focus on their community. We need to do the same, because as long as we don't do the same and we aren't sticking together and recognizing that we are different, we may all be classified as Black, but there are differences. And I don't, if you are somebody who is, a Pan-African, whatever, that is what you want to do. But there are differences, and as long as this country continues to get more diverse, we're going to see those differences at the highlight a lot more. And as I already stated, countries like London this has already been happening for decades. As I said, the gang wars, etc., the tribal conflict, the discrimination based on ethnic background have already been happening for decades. So we need to really take time to, gang together to really, fight this, because as long as we keep fighting internally and having this we are one mindset, we're going to fall behind. And it's already been happening. I mean, look at our first Black president. I'm not going to get too political. We have not had a Black American president that experienced our trauma yet. But you can't even bring that up, because if you speak about a Black president, they think Obama, represents all of us or comes from the same background as all of us. If you look at the people in these high positions, a lot of them aren't us. But as long as we keep pushing this "we are all Black" rhetoric, issues like this are going to continue to happen. And once we try to call it out, once we try to call this out as a racial issue, it's going to be dismissed because, you're both Black. So yeah, although this situation was sad, I do think, it was a great moment to really call out what a lot of us have already been noticing, that we are kind of falling behind because we're being replaced without even really being able to call it out because we're all Black. So yeah, that's pretty much all I had to say. That we really need to spaces like this. I do appreciate. I'm definitely gonna share your page. If you have a TikTok, definitely I will follow that. But yeah, we definitely need to stick together because this is gonna only continue to rise. And as I said, I'm from New York, so I've already been experiencing this since I was a kid. It's the rest of the country is starting to experience it a lot more as they start to move from major cities, but it's only going to get worse.
All right, I appreciate you, No Name.
DJ right here. Oh, my bad, go ahead. This DJ right here, follow me back, No Name.
I appreciate that, No Name. Thank you. Thank you for coming up here speaking. We're gonna get the mail, and we got a bunch of other people up here too. I see my man Ray is up in the space. I see Stephanie. Stephanie, I can't believe you hadn't requested to speak tonight. Rera, what's going on, Rera? I see Val. I see a bunch of y'all up in here as well too. Trouble at the bottom. Carissa, I see a bunch of y'all up in here too. So definitely, this is a Saturday night space. Like I said, this is the first one we've done in almost damn near 2 years. So we definitely, if anybody wants to come up here and speak, we want to go ahead and get it in. I said I'm not going to hold the space too long, but I did want to talk about this actual story that was happening and taking place as well. And you guys saw the tweet that I tweeted earlier from the New York Post talking about this situation. So definitely come on up here and let us know what you guys think. Share your thoughts. We definitely want to hear from you. I see my girl Stephanie coming up here. But Mel, go ahead. And I know you wanted to respond to Reverend Tim. I see we got Stephanie. Stephanie, you want to speak? I'll get to you in just a second too.
Okay, thanks, Newstoter. I did want to respond to Tim, but it's not just that. A couple things. I wouldn't be surprised if by the time, by February, they've got a Somali hate crime bill going on. Okay, because this is how stuff is moving with the speed of lightning. And then you've got this Ilmar Unan, who is not going to have any problem making that pop and pop off. And sidebar, No Name, thank you for being courteous and willing to allow me to speak in front of you. I appreciate you doing that. This is really kind of you. But see that's what I'm talking about. So and I'm not even trying to disparage Tim. That's not my objective. But this is one of those situations where we ain't got time for imposter syndrome. And again, I could be very wrong, but I know what I heard. And I know the spaces I was in where I heard Tim, and I had to scratch my head. I was like, wait a minute. This man he's riding the fence. So again, I'm not trying to judge you. The example you came up with, Tim, about Second Amendment, that's not even the space that you were in that I was referencing. So I don't mean just that. And again, I'm off of you. I'm not even trying to hold you accountable. On the bigger scale, what I'm getting at is this is not a time for whomever It is not a time for us to ride the fence. And the truth of the matter is that if the people that have any level of influence in Minnesota, if they are going to be fence riders, then they're going. I guess it's going to depend what side of the fence they really want to win. Because if they're going to be fence riders and not, and in certain circles use the term BIPOC and welcome it and not correct people, then BIPOC is going to win. And if you won't speak up and say, "Wait, hold on, BIPOC is cute," but Black Americans are not included in that BIPOC term. If we're not doing that, then that's a problem. I just was writing a training program recently, and some people like BIPOC. So you know what? In my writing, yeah, I'm using BIPOC, but outside of BIPOC, I'm making sure that I'm very specific by stating Black American men, Black American women, and other BIPOC folks. And unless we have the conversation that way, no one else is going to get into it and make that delineation. I think shout out to Brother Mupo who said words matter. So I'm gonna land right there. I just, and we ain't got time to be playing the game. And if it's cute because it's in your city and now you can look like, you're making it pop and pop off, and you don't enjoy all that. But are you really doing it, or are you just fronting for Jamaica? And I'm gonna land right there.
All right, thank you, Mel. Let me go ahead and get to Stephanie, and I said we got T. Roy up here as well too. Stephanie, what's going on tonight? How you doing?
Hey, salute to you, salute to the entire chat room. Shout out to everybody that spoke. Mr. No Name, I wanted to respond to something you said about them being all Black. Well, we have the upper advantage because Somalis don't consider themselves Black. They consider themselves Arabs, okay? They, even on the U.S. Census, many of them are considered white because of their phenotypical features. Straight nose, thin lips, their hair and whatever else. So they have failed to say that they failed that. So, results say otherwise in that manner. And also, if you look at Somalia is a part of the Arab Leagues. They are one of the 7 countries on the continent that consider themselves Arabs, but they're being treated like dirt in their countries and abroad, like Saudi Arabia and other places. So they would lose that argument with all of the receipts that would be presented. So, that's just tribal, just tribal things just happening within the community. So, they can say whatever they want, but, it's not going to end well for them either. And I'll land. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Stephanie. Let me go ahead and get to T. Roy, and then we'll get to you back to No Name. Like I said, anybody else that wants to speak, come on up here.
Peace to all the Black Americans in the chat and the listeners and the speakers. I just want to say one thing and drop down. But the situation we in is very real. This is real life, and it's not to be taken lightly. You have to look at these things like as any other Black country or the Black Caribbeans look at it. The Caribbeans are dealing with nationalism. It's countries that don't like each other. They take this shit to the West. Africans are dealing with tribalism. They don't like each other, and they take it to the West. So these people, right? Their sole goal is to conquer. And we're in the mix of that. I know from history we looked at things as a race base, but this is more important just as race is, man. Because really, it's a fight against the immigrants, and it's really a fight against the government because the government is implementing this. So I just feel like we have to we shouldn't take this lightly, and we should be on one accord and be on code with all Black Americans across the states. I'll land there and drop down. Thank you for letting me up.
No problem. Appreciate having you. Thank you. Let me go ahead and get back to No Name. No Name, go ahead and unmute your mic.
So thank you for the opportunity to speak as well. But just getting back to Stephanie, I think you were kind of highlighting my point about a lot of Somalians do not classify themselves as Black. I know that. I think that a lot of us in this chat may know that because we take the time to do research to actually look up stuff. and really get more knowledge. But just going back to the host, Newstoter, I remember that earlier you said you were talking to your dad about the incident, and he said, how can it be a race issue when both of them are black? And so that is my point right now, that as long as we have these labels that allow confusion, then things like that can be misinterpreted, and they can also use that to their advantage. Because even Representative, I don't know how to say her name, but Ilhan Omar, I believe, the Minnesota representative, she herself during her campaign was sponsored by a lot of black organizations, Black to the Future. These big organizations sponsored her because she was able to fit under the guise of blackness in America, because we have made it so widespread, and we kind of have let that. I do believe that, just speaking as a black American, all of us are black Americans, I do believe that due to our past, we never had that tribal mentality, because a lot of us were going through the same stuff across the United States. Like whether I was my family's from Georgia, Louisiana, Tennessee, and North Carolina, we were going through the same thing as families in Alabama. So I think a lot of us never really developed that tribal mentality, because it was kind of us against them. And I think that we kind of have brought that into the future now. And while a lot of other groups come here and still look out for their people, as Reverend Tim said, Ilhan Omar is representing Minnesota, but a lot of the things that she has done have directly impacted that Somali community. So as long as we keep allowing these broad terms, BIPOC, POC, black, to represent us as black Americans, we're never going to win, because we're going into a tribal environment without having a tribal mindset. And that's why issues like this are able to get swept under the rug. And just to bring up another thing, Somalis are only 200. They have less than 200,000 Somalis in America currently. Less than 200,000. There are over 40 million black Americans. This shouldn't even really be an issue, because just numbers-wise, we outnumber most of these other groups. However, they have a tribal mindset. And so while us as black Americans, a lot of us are just looking to support the black person. We're rooting for everybody black. While these other groups, Somalians, are rooting for Somalis. When it comes to voting, they're rooting for Somalis. When it comes to programs, they're rooting for the ones that affect Somalians. And that's not even only them. Ghanaians, Nigerians. These populations are a lot smaller than we think they are. However, because they move in unison, they're able to come. Hell, as Reverend Tim said, pretty soon their cabinet may be full of Somalians or full of people from that East African background, because they have this tribal mindset that we didn't develop, because we kind of were all united. Because of our history, us as black Americans were going through a lot of the similar things. But yeah, we're letting these broad terms really, they're being turned against us in a way. Because even when you call something out, it's, oh, you're both black. When you call it discrimination, it's, oh, you're both black. And I'm a New Yorker, so I just want to say I've grown up with this. So that's maybe why I am more in tune to it. I've grown up hearing how other people talk about black Americans. But then when it's Black History Month, they are suddenly black American. I've grown up seeing other people talk about black American being slaves. Then when it's suddenly a white person against us, oh, we're all black. When it's suddenly a scholarship, oh, we're all black. I just want us to really think about everything. Think about what blackness is, and think about how many people in America get to claim that without having any true ties to it. Think about all these black scholarships that are supposed to be for black Americans that other black people can claim without having any real ties to it. And so, yeah, I think, Stephanie, I do agree with you. We, as people who have done our research, know the difference. We know how they actually act. We know how they actually treat actual, not even black Americans, but even Africans on the same continent. And to even give a bit more background, I'm a black American. As I did say, my family is from the Carolinas, Georgia, and I have some Louisiana roots as well. But on my father's side, my father is bi-ethnic. My father his mother is black American. His father is from Ghana. So one of my grandparents is straight from Ghana. And that when I am speaking, I'm just not speaking of ignorance. I'm speaking as somebody who has grown up around this. They put themselves first, but they put their tribe first. We're going into a fight with people who, at the end of the day, although they may be black, they are also their tribe. And so as long as we keep letting these broad terms represent us, we're never going to go anywhere, because we're going into a fight on an uneven playing field. And I'll just end it right there.
All right. Thank you, No Name. Let me read this tweet real quick from Fresh. Fresh says they may see themselves or identify with Arabic or Caucasian, but they are classified as African Americans. This is how they tap into resources that's supposed to go to our community, but it's allocated to them. So shout out to Fresh for her post that she just put out there. I see my girl Rella is up in here as well too. So Rella, what's going on with you? How you doing tonight?
Hey, Newstoter, DJ. Hello, Miss Stephanie, my girl Mel. And I see a lot of familiar faces, and shout out to the new faces on stage that I have not interacted with. And definitely peace and love to the room. So, I see a lot of Minnesotans, even representatives, maybe people who are running for office are also in the space. It would be definitely behoove you to actually come on stage and introduce yourself, because this particular topic would involve you. And the reason why I said would involve you is because people like Ilhan was able to get into positions of representation, so-called representation. I've been following her for some time, and she utilized and weaponized her melanin in her adjacent to Black Americans in her prospective city without having a clear understanding, in my point of view, who the descendants were. And, if you're new to myself, if you're new to The Only Mel Cruz, Newstoter, DJ, WPI, Miss Stephanie, let us introduce you. We are the descendants of this country. And our language is totally different. We speak English. We have an untold language, Tootanese. There are some people who have a mixture admixture of language because of the slaveholders. And we have various backgrounds of representation in our family for our lineage. And because a lot of people who, like No Name was saying, like to claim the term Black, they only claim the term Black when it's beneficial. They only claim the term Black when they need to utilize the term Blackness or Martin Luther King or the struggle of civil rights to push legislation and agenda for other groups of people. To me, that is very problematic, because it has posed a problem in our community across the country that has put not only other melanated people who do come into the country at risk, but it put us at an even higher risk, because we never are able to get the full repair and benefits and resources that we need, because we are always ousted depending on how redlining works, depending on how and who in representation would actually look at the Black Americans, the descendants, to say, okay, well, there is a humanitarian crisis, a genocide that is happening, and it is impacting the foundation of this country. And 50% of the homeless are Black Americans, and other people are following suit who do become melanated in this country. And then they try and look at Black Americans and make this big deal about who we are and try to subjugate us and things like that, instead of noticing that they're coming into communities that are being harmed. They're being harmed by people who ask for votes and never deliver resources and repair. And because now our language is very, very, I think it's very pointed. I think we are now coming into the fact that we can now vocalize what the harms are. We now are pushing even more so with what reparations means, along with a check. It has more to do with lineage over anything, policy over party. And a lot of people don't like that. And unfortunately, I do believe that our children are going to suffer, because you have other melanated groups in the country who do not share our story. They do not share our experience. And because of it, they can walk around and call us Akatas or Jarirs or other names that come from different languages that we do not share. And they utilize the trope of, oh, well, Black Americans make fun of us at school. All kids make fun of each other at school. but to start issues with children and other people who do not share your language, your culture, your ethnic background, but then try to fall under the banner of Blackness when it is beneficial is a problem. And it's coming out more and more. So I'm not saying that people who are Somalian shouldn't look out for other people who are Somalian. I think that's a given. I'm not saying that people who are Ghanaian should look after people who are Ghanaian. But if there's no reciprocity and you're upset at the fact that Black American children who are from the descendant community decide to protect themselves and look after each other, then I would say the problem is not those children, the problem is you. Because people willfully believe that we should allow ourselves to continue to be harmed and we shouldn't say anything. But we should make sure that we sacrifice and give ourselves for the benefits of others. And that is a problem. And I'll end there.
Thank you, Rella. As always, appreciate you coming up here. Let me go ahead and get to the Black Vanguard. I'm gonna get to you, Stephanie. Let me hear the Black Vanguard. He hadn't had a chance to speak, so let me get to one of the new speakers.
Yeah, this is very serious though, because I've been in the South Long and telling my people that these Africans come from countries they're very tribalistic. See, in Somalia, they got a lot of clans over there. The Somalians, they be fired amongst themselves over here in Somalia. Then they go to other countries and they bring that same type of tribalism mentality from their countries, and they bring that out here and practice that on us. See, a lot of people don't realize and understand that though. Them Africans, and like, I travel all over the world though. I still travel. You go to like Kenya, places like over there. Kenya share the same border as Somalia. A lot of the Somalis be going over to Kenya and be starting problems with the Kenyans over there in Somalia. Then the Somalis be going to like places like Seychelles, Mauritius, and South Africa causing problems with the people over there. And they respect the countries over there. So these Somalians, they have a problem everywhere they go. In other countries, they actually deport a lot of Somalians, and they actually don't deny Somalians entry into a lot of countries though. And you remember when Trump had that travel ban on Somalians though? They couldn't come in the country the whole 4 years Trump was in there though. So after Trump got out of there and the Joe Biden got in there, he took the travel ban off. That's where it got real bold though. But I would say they need to reinstate the travel ban, stop the Somalians and Nigerians from coming out here though too, because they want to come to this country when Trump was in there though. He also was deporting, get rid of a lot of the ones that was already in the country as well. So I would say they gotta go. They gotta get deported. And shout out to the Black Americans that defend themselves because they deport and get these Somalis and Nigerians about this country though. Because we don't want to have no do with their tribalism from their third world and fourth world country they come from. That's all I gotta say.
All right. Thank you, Black Vanguard. Let me go ahead and get to Stephanie. Stephanie, go ahead and unmute your mic again.
Okay, I wanted to say I'm also from New York, so I pretty much understand how it goes here. This is why I brought up in another space about how many of them get high positions in companies and in jobs. And when they find out that a Black American is in the same field, they, for some reason, they primarily target that Black American person and try to force them out of those positions. And they put another person from their culture or from another culture, as long as they're not Black American, to fulfill those positions. I should know because it's happened to my aunt, it's happened to my mother, and I just found out that it happened to my sister. Okay, so we have to be careful and we have to vet exactly who's going to be in these positions, because if they hold any type of hostility and they're primarily targeting a certain person, like even my friend, and she's from the island of Jamaica, she was targeted by her own group. She was targeted by other people, especially the Latinos, right? So, you know, we really need to start calling these out and holding these corporations accountable, because it seems like they're aware of some of the things that's happening and they just refuse to do anything about it. So unless we pressure our Congress or people to write bills about xenophobia and racism on these jobs, then maybe we can start getting things done and holding these people fully accountable by lawsuits. Then name the said person or persons in the lawsuit, maybe we can get things to turn back around, because this is absolutely ridiculous. Okay? And like I said, we know what the situation is. They can sit up there and people cry about, well, we're all black. No, I'm black too. I'm not a racist. But yet, you go on some of these people's Twitter pages, their social media, and it's just written in black and white. Niggers, Akata, Yankee, and all these other derogatory names that they have for us. So we got to start going to our legal, going to the politicians and start speaking out more about this, because somewhere along the line it has to stop. A lot of these corporations should be held accountable for these people's actions that they hire. And what a lot of people are not bringing up, somebody had put in my DM that there was an article back in maybe more than 100 years ago where white people would literally give people, well, primarily they just named one group, which was from the island of Jamaica. They would let them buy property, but as long as they don't sell to Black Americans. And this is more than 100 years ago. So we really need to understand where all of this stuff is coming from, okay? There was a young lady, she was from one of these French-speaking African countries. And she even said that she was on a job and she was around a lot of people from, said, like Ghana or Nigeria, other places. And she said that they had a Black American, their section, and the Nigerian girl said, look, we got a Black American came in, and she said this.
You breaking up, Stephanie?
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now, but you was breaking up.
Okay. We had a French-speaking African girl in one of our spaces last year, and she spoke out and said that she was in a section where everybody was primarily from different countries in Africa, and as soon as they brought a Black American in their section, they literally wanted to have the girl fired and have her removed. And they was just trying to figure out, and the ringleader was the Nigerian female. So we better understand what we're up against. If we don't understand it, we better understand it now, because these people are not, they're playing for keeps. And right now we are the pieces that they want removed off the board. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Stephanie. I appreciate it. Let me go ahead and get to Sonny. Go ahead and unmute your mic.
Yo, what's good, Newstoter? Peace to all the family in the space.
What's up?
You know, what's going down? I seen this happen in real life. You know, I knew this situation was coming, man. I'm from Columbus, Ohio. A lot of the Somalis got dumped off, you know, in the early 2000s in my city when they had that civil war. I remember going to school, you know, elementary school. It was just Black Americans, you know, white people. We don't have like a lot of immigrants where I'm from. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I remember going to elementary school, never seeing no Somalis. Going to middle school, never seeing no Somalis. By the time I hit 9th, 10th grade, I started seeing a whole bunch of Somalis in my high school, bro. So I remember specifically when this happened. And I also remember, you know, where I'm from, you know, we have a plaza, a shopping center called Northern Lights in Columbus, Ohio. It was predominantly Black American businesses, all through up there. I'm talking about a big ass plaza, bro. I'm talking about from grocery stores, the shopping, different stores, get your clothes. It was a flea market up there. It was a lot of stuff that was going on, and you know, throughout the years, it just slowly morphed into a whole Somali complex, bro. Just nothing but Somali businesses. That's it. So you know, it was no gratitude, no nothing shared, you know, toward or an extended hand to their Black American brother before they went over here and they just took over that whole shopping center, that plaza. Also going to school, you know, being a youth, going to high school, you know, in the early 2000s, just like 2005, 2006, you know, not having the conversations about delineation amongst your family, not doing none of that, just thinking that people was your brother and sister or whatever from Africa, whatever ideology that's been placed in Black Americans' heads, right? People coming over here are from Africa. one of my boys, I went to school with my brother. I'm still close with him to this day. He was trying to talk to, he liked one of them, so he was trying to talk to the Somali girl, you know what I'm saying? She thought she was cute. Her parents wasn't on none of that. You know what I'm saying? So he was a Black American. It was taught to them they need to be with a Somali to keep it, within their ethnicity, to be in a Somali relationship, stuff like that. And they got their own little enclaves. They got River. That's the community that's in Columbus, Ohio. That was another predominantly Black American community over there on the west side of Columbus, Ohio, where they took now it's 99.9% Somali. So I seen this shit coming, man, early, man. That's exactly where they dumped these Somalis off at. Whenever that stuff happened was Minnesota and Ohio, and that number has definitely grown. From then to now. So yeah, it's crazy, man. We got to start having more conversations as Black Americans about the city. I don't know if we could create unions where it's ethnic specific, towards all different categories, from Hollywood to the school to finances to everything. We got to start, really forming a huddle around Black Americans and, creating nepotism amongst each other. That's why, we got to really extend it into our vocabulary when we outside, just at the grocery store, the gas station. Hey, where your people's from? Oh, South, Mississippi, Louisiana. Okay, cool. Like, I'm a Black American too. We really got to start asking each other about our lineage and really locking in step, and then, making moves together. And I landed right there. Thanks for the space, Newstoter, brother DJ.
All right. Appreciate it, Sonny. Thank you for coming up speaking tonight. Let me go ahead and get to my girl, Trouble. I definitely got to hear what Trouble got to say. What's up, Trouble?
Hey, Toter. Much love to you and DJ, the space, everybody up in the cut, the usual suspects, the unusual suspects, and everybody in between. So I'm not going to, I just got a few points. I promised myself I wasn't going to do the space thing this year.
Would you say you weren't going to come on no spaces this year?
Yeah, I'm tired of the conversations and tired of the talking. It don't feel like we're moving forward a lot of times, and it's just a certain amount of us who are, we know what it is, but our whole Black world surrounding us outside of these spaces, it seems to still be stuck in some slumber. And I don't always feel like my voice is very important. I don't feel as if, sometimes I don't feel as if I really add anything to the conversation that hasn't been said. And so sometimes it just feels like, why am I speaking? So that's just that. But what I'd like to say about this is I keep hearing us say that we need to educate people about the plight of us as descendants. And do we really? Because do they really care? If you are coming from a war-torn nation like theirs, where they are pretty much at the bottom, to another nation who doesn't treat the descendants with the respect they know our country doesn't treat us with, do you really care about those people's plights if you can come here and be seen as the best thing since sliced cheese? Because they look at us, you notice when it's a few of them that come here, they find themselves intertwined with us. But when they find themselves in numbers, all of a sudden they start emulating the same things that white folks do to us. They start repeating the same language, and all of a sudden Black Americans become the worst Blacks in the global Blacks, where you Black Americans are the worst out of all of us, but we weren't able to come to flee to your nations and get it popping the way that you've been able to get it popping over here. And who made that happen for you? But we're the worst Blacks globally, so you say, once you get here. And that's because they will never care about our plight, because it is a tribal mindset, and maybe we need to be more tribal in our mindset too, and just specifically care about us. we can't educate people who don't want to be educated, because white folks have made it very clear. They see how white folks treat us over here. And so they see the benefits that they come and they get when they get here. And so that naturally in your mindset makes you feel like, well, if the other populations of black people here aren't doing like we're doing, because they don't recognize the set-asides and the benefits that they're getting are not the same set-asides and benefits that we're able to use to prompt ourselves up. They don't understand, or maybe they do and just don't care, because they're being elevated. And so even on a political level, if you look at the majority of the blacks in political positions, a lot of these blacks are non-black Americans. They are foreign blacks. They are water carriers for white supremacy, and they have always been their tools. They are comfortable in that position because they don't understand naturally how white supremacy breaks their tools. They have yet to have that wake-up call that we have already know is coming. See, we know it's coming. We know it's only but for so long that man is going to allow you to be in the positions in which you are. And when he's tired of using you, when he can no longer use you for his purposes, he will break you all the way down. And you all will do the same thing that everyone has always done, and then try to come back into the black community for that covering, for that care, for that love that we have always shown. The brother No Name had said, maybe this was a good thing that this took place. Because to be honest with you, what is it going to take to wake the rest of our people up out of the slumber that we are in? We are in the slumber. They recognize that we all are not the same black, but Toter, just like your father, and he is not the only one. There are so many of your fathers in my family who still sit and say, well, we're all black. Well, it's not a racial thing, because there's too many of us that don't think it has anything to do with race, when these people recognize we're not the same black. We're only the same black when they can suck up off of the resources that have been put out there for those under the cloak of blackness, right? But once they get those resources and they get to the positions where they want to be, they are no longer black. I'm not black like you. They're holding a space right now where they're very arrogant and posting up pictures of this is what the white folks gave you all. White folks gave y'all these projects, and look at the conditions in which you keep your projects in. So they're very dismissive and arrogant and turning their nose up, and they're trying to niggerize us like the white folks do. And that's how they are always going to see us. So when Brother Muko asked the question in his polling, are black people really serious about overturning the system of white supremacy? We really have to delve into what that means. It means being uncomfortable for a long period of time. If you're really serious about dismantling it, that means you have to be uncomfortable. We're going to be uncomfortable trying to change the system, because this system also includes these proxies of white supremacy. And make no mistake about it, all of these blacks who come from other nations, I don't care how many handfuls say, well, we are allied with you. You all are proxies of white supremacy, because they know the tribalism that you have on your own lands. They expect you to bring that here with them, because that's what they're going to use. They're going to utilize your tribalism against the American Negroes, who have always, since day one, fought against them, because you're not willing to fight against them in your own land, so they know damn well you're not going to fight against them when you come here. You're proxies of white supremacy. And until the rest of us wake up out of this slumber that we are in, where we're still looking at these other nations of black people as they're black, we're the same. It's not a racial thing. White supremacy is always going to be able to use them as a proxy, because they get what we don't. What a lot of our elders and what a lot of even our youth, because I've had to explain this to my sons in college right now. And I'm going to keep explaining it to them until they understand, because I asked one of them specifically to let go of his club at the NAACP, and I'm still pissed about it because he told me that was one he wasn't going to let go because it was a black organization and he wasn't letting go of his black organizations, and he don't seem to get it. I'm sorry for that little rant, but he kind of pissed me off with that one. So it just goes to the mindset of not just the elders, but our youth as well, who want to bridge these gaps that cannot be bridged with people who are constantly setting a gasoline fire to the bridge that you keep trying to send them a boat through. They burned the bridge down, and here we are as Black Americans sending them a boat to come back across to the lands so that they could tear our house down on fire once again. And when are we going to stop doing that? So that's why I said I'm going to stop talking for a little while, because it just, I don't see where we're getting at and where we're going to get at until more incidents like these continue to happen, so that other people, Black folks in these towns and these areas, can see that these people, let these people show the rest of us who are sleeping that they are not Black like us, because us regular folks telling y'all that they not Black like us, they don't see themselves as being Black like us, it's not getting through. I'm tired of talking. I'm tired of feeling the things that I'm feeling. We've got our own legislators making it a point not to teach our history, and because it serves two purposes. It keeps their children ignorant to what they've done to the Negroes on this land, so that they'll continue to perpetrate the sins of their fathers. And it keeps these new Americans, who they slated offices all over the United States for, to give them funding for, it keeps them ignorant to what the Negroes of this land has been through, not only with these white folks, but with these proxies who came here as well and continue to do the harms and the evils that they do to us. So, and that's pretty much, I'm sorry, y'all, I went on a rant. I said I wasn't going to be long, but that's pretty much all I have to add to the conversation. They're going to continue to vex us, and it's up to us to wake the hell up. It's up to us to have to go through more uprisings in Minnesota with these opposite groups of Black nations against the native black folks here, in order for everybody to start waking up along the lines. And I land right there. I apologize.
No, you ain't got nothing to apologize for, Trouble. Come on, you straight, you good. Anytime you want to come up in the space or whatever, even if you don't want to speak, if you just want to come up and listen, you're more than welcome to come up in here as well. I just enjoy hearing you talk, but if you want to sit back in the listener section and just listen, that's cool, that's fine. But no, you ain't got nothing to apologize. I understand exactly how you feel, and I think most people in this space, understand how you feel as well too. So I'm glad to hear from you. Like I said, you guys know we don't normally do a Saturday night space, so this was I wanted to go ahead and cover this topic here. I thought about actually having it on Sunday, but I said, you know what, it's been damn near 2 years since I actually had a space on a Saturday, so let me go ahead and have this space here as well too. So I'm just glad everybody came out and supported the space tonight as well too. I know the topic, we wish it could have been something different, but at the same time, like No Name and the other people say, sometimes this is kind of good that this gets put out there as well too. So shout out to all you guys that decided to join us this Saturday night in the space as well too, guys. Like I say, this is the first one since going on damn near 2 years that we've had on a Saturday night. So shout out to everybody coming up in the space. Let me go ahead and get to we got a new speaker, but I'm gonna get to the other hands because everybody spoke up here. But let me get to She Means Business, and then I'll get to No Name and the Black Vanguard and Rel and everybody else.
Oh, thank you. Shout out to you for the space tonight. Hello to you guys.
Thank you. Shout out to you.
Thank you. I just wanted to say a couple of things to this topic. So, number one, people are coming into our country thinking that they don't have to respect American citizens, that they don't have to respect Black Americans, and that they can just come to America and get whatever they want. And so the thing is that it is our ancestors' blood, sweat, and tears that went into building this country. So we have every right to receive the benefits from this country. It is our ancestors that fought for the rights that people have here. It is our ancestors that fought in all of the wars. And so our mentality needs to be that if you are going to come to this country, you will respect the citizens here. You don't get to come here and think that you can treat us any type of way. We need to have a zero, one strike and you're out mindset when it comes to immigrants coming here. And this is something that we're going to have to start pushing our politicians to come up with these type of regulations, where if you are caught committing any crimes, you have a one strike and you're out policy. If you are harassing American citizens, you are out of this country. If you're committing crimes against American citizens, you are out of this country. Because what is happening is not only are we being attacked by people, they are scamming their behinds off. I just saw a video earlier where Black people in Georgia, and I'm sure this is happening in all across the country, are being targeted, where people are taking out mortgages on people's house that they don't own without the owner knowing, because they have connections at the DMV, so they have access to people's, personal information. They have connections at these realtor offices, these banks where a lot of these people are working. And so they're able to get access to people's personal information, take out loans in their name on their house, a second mortgage, and then default on it. And so then the homeowner has no clue. So then their house is being foreclosed on and put up for auction. And then those very same people are buying the owner out of their house at the auction. And so another thing that a lot of people don't realize,
them to rent it back to them. There you go.
Right, exactly. And so another thing that people are not aware happened, I was not aware it happened until I saw it on American Greed, but a lot of these immigrants were committing all types of fraud during the pandemic. They were using other people's business addresses to take out PPP loans under various different names, because they had access to people's licenses, information, and stuff like that. They were even using some of the other immigrants that were here at one time that went back to their country. They were even using their identification and names to take out PPP loans on other people, using other people's business addresses. So there's all types of fraud going on top of everything else that's happening. And so this is why we have to push our government to have a zero tolerance policy when it comes to people coming here, because it is a privilege to come here. You're not entitled to come here. And I think that's part of the problem, is we have had this mindset where we want to help everybody. And because we haven't required them to respect us, and we haven't required that they treat our citizens in this country with respect and our country, they think they can do whatever. And if you've lived in any other countries or you've traveled, you know that you cannot do whatever you want in other people's country. So we're actually behind in terms of being too lenient on these people. The other thing that we need to be pushing for is protective class status now. I don't think we can wait till reparations. We need to be pushing for that right now. And we also need to be pushing for citizens' preference on these jobs, because the reality, like I said, is it is our blood, sweat, and tears and our people that built this country that have afforded all these opportunities. So our children and our future generations are entitled to the benefits that were created in this country. These other people are not entitled to anything. They are here as a privilege and a benefit and a kindness. They're not entitled to anything. And so I think that, if we have that type of mindset, we're unapologetic about it, and we push this for our politicians, we can make some groundwork, because one of the things that is going to happen when people understand that we're not playing and you're not just going to come and do whatever you want, they're going to tighten up or they're going to get out of here. And that's where we need to go. And people who came in this country illegally should be banned from returning, period. They should be deported and banned from returning. And if you have companies that are hiring these people illegally, please message me, because we have to start boycotting these companies. These companies have passed the buck to us to take care of these people that they're bringing here for cheaper labor. And what's going to happen is not only have they already been stifling wages, but they're going to roll back the rights that we fought for in terms of work conditions. We already have tons of reports about people abusing people on the job, not giving them breaks like they're supposed to, not keeping up standard working like conditions that they're supposed to. We've already even heard reports of them in, putting child labor in place because we fought for all of these rights that we have. They didn't drop out the sky. When you didn't fight for any of those rights, you think that America was just nice and gave them to us. So you don't really care about preserving them. And so this is the thing we have to educate our people about, is that this is the danger of what's happening. And there's already tons of evidence to show that is exactly what's happening. And it's going to get worse. So that's what I wanted to say. I'm going to land my plane there, and thank you so much.
All right. Thank you. She means business. Definitely good to hear from you tonight. Definitely good to hear from you. I got to say that everybody in this space, the only thing that's been missing is the actual oil, because y'all all been cooking. Everybody's come up here with some excellent points tonight. So definitely, I'm definitely appreciative of that. Let me go ahead and get to No Name. No Name, go ahead and unmute your mic.
All right. Thank you. This is probably my last time talking. It's been a very good conversation. But I do want to say, just to Sonny and to Trouble, I really love both of your points. And I think that, just getting back to the original topic, as I said, I'm very sorry that this happened to those Black American women and that they have to go through being called a slur. I would never want that to happen to anyone. But we can't let this situation die down, because situations like this are what expose what's really happening and what many of us are going through that we don't feel comfortable talking about. So if you are in the Minnesota area, do what you can to highlight this, whether you have, a group of friends that you can talk to. In-person reach works so much and is so much more effective than online chatter. And even now, anyone who's in this conversation right now, share this link, share one of the articles New York Post posted as well, post it to your Facebook. Let individuals who aren't in these chats, who aren't in these spaces, see articles like that to already let them know what's happening across the country. Because a lot of people don't know what's happening like this. A lot of Black Americans reside in the South. In the South, although it is getting a lot more diverse, it is not near what's happening up here in the Northeast. I was born in High Point, North Carolina. My area, I did not encounter Dominican, Trinidadians, etc. until I moved to New York. So a lot of our people don't even know what we're going through in these spaces up here, because a lot of them are in more, a lot of us are still in communities where a lot of the people around us are from the same ethnic background. So just share this to your Facebook, let other people see what's going on, because things like that will also help us gain traction and let people, start opening their eyes and awake from their slumber, as, Trouble said. Also, I think we need to start organizing more. This is my first time ever speaking in a chat or ever speaking in a space. We need a consistent time for everyone to join. So either consistently on Sundays or something like that, for us to all know when it's happening, and for that movement and that space to expand. Consistency will help build a movement, and so we need something like that where we got a consistent time frame that we can all join these meetings and get knowledge or hear about what's going on in different regions across America, etc. But also, I want us all to give ourselves grace. We're kind of entering this fight late. We're entering this like centuries late. A lot of these individuals come from countries where they already have had this tribal mindset for centuries. Before America was even founded, they already had this tribal mindset. And so we're coming into this fight so much later than them. But we have the numbers to really affect change if we are passionate and if we are serious about what we are doing. So if any of you, like I said, I'm in the New York City area. If any of you are up here and you have an org or you have something happening in person, let us know. Let the people in this room know, because in-person activism is way more. Internet activism is great, but in-person activism it works faster, it's quicker, and it's easier to decide on things. So yeah, I think that's what we need to do moving forward. If any of you are in New York, reach out to somebody else in New York. Let them know if you have an org that's doing something. We need to take this a bit more serious. And once again, I just think even changing our language. When somebody asks you what you are, instead of saying you are just Black, let them know where you are from specifically. I am a Black American. Even things like that, that change of language, that change of, letting them know your ethnic origin, that starts these conversations, because when you're saying you're a Black American, somebody else is gonna feel like they can't just say I'm Black. They have to say that they are Ghanaian, Liberian, etc. Simple things like that help, this movement further. But yeah, I think that, just don't let this die down. If you have the New York Post article, share it to Facebook. Don't let this be swept under the rug, because that's most likely what's going to end up happening. Things happen for 2 days, then they sweep it under the rug, and we never hear about it again. Share it. Share it with your community, share it with your organizations, and do in-person activism. Like I said, if you're in New York, please let me know. But we really have to stick together. We have the numbers. There are over 40 million Black Americans in America. We have the numbers. We just don't have that mindset. So I think that's the next step. And even more so, this year right now is about to be it's an election year. If there's ever been any year, to politicize something or to make something, gain traction, this is the year. Instead of saying reparations for Black people, for Black Americans, because even then, the whole reparation movement, we're seeing people try to creep their way inside because we aren't being specific in our terminology. We're not being specific in, what should be required for reparations. We have reparation committees that have no Black Americans making decisions. We have reparation committees that are saying that you can't discriminate based on lineage. So we have to be, just let's adapt that mindset that they have. And just the first thing to do is just change your language, change how you're referring to yourself, and those around you, your family members, your immediate family. Let them know what's going on, and then they'll let people know, and we'll continue. But yeah, thank you for this chat. Like I said, I do feel as though somebody's have something consistently on a day of the week. If any of you do that,
real quick, not to cut you off, no name, but generally through Monday through Thursday, we hold Newstoter holds a space at 8 p.m. So we generally we hold spaces Monday through Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So you can always catch us here. Sometimes we may only do 2 spaces a week. Normally we'll do 4, but sometimes it's 2, 3 spaces. But we hold spaces throughout those days, Monday through Thursday. So that just check out Newstoter. And also, like I say, go to the website, newstoter.com, to stay up to date on breaking Black news, and also subscribe to the YouTube channel as well, too. We got hundreds of these spaces we upload on YouTube. We got hundreds of these actual spaces uploaded to YouTube as well, too. So yeah, we hold spaces periodic. We hold spaces all the time. So
thank you. Like I said, I'm new, so my apologies. But now that I know that, I will be in those spaces. And yeah, I just appreciate the chat. I appreciate all of your inputs. And things like this, conversations like this are what really help us gain traction and gain momentum. And like I said, a year ago, I wasn't in a space like this. So although some of you may believe that you aren't making an impact, people like me and many others are waking up. We're seeing, the discrimination. We're seeing how we're kind of being left behind. So yeah, even when you think you're not making an impact, a simple conversation or just somebody hearing your thoughts is, doing a lot more than you may think.
Absolutely, thank you. And yeah, we make an impact.
Follow everybody, no name. You gotta follow everybody. Follow everybody. Everybody follow no name. That's how you learn, bro.
Yeah, we're definitely making an impact. If you guys can remember last year, we covered the space on the actual farmers in Colorado that were, under attack. And that because of you had a space before us, and then you had our space, and we were able to kind of get that into the actual to the major media outlets and stuff as well too. And you had major media outlets speaking on what was going on with Colorado. Hell, DL Hughley, shortly after we held a space, was talking about it on his radio show as well too. So Marcel, he launched his campaign for congressman up there. He used social media and everything else as well too. So guys, we're definitely everything like the old expression, Rome wasn't built in a day, but at the same time we're getting things done. People have had they've used these spaces to go ahead and help cities like Mason, Tennessee. We were talking about the Jackson, Mississippi water crisis for a long time. We've had all kind of different things that people have used, Twitter, social media, Facebook, Instagram, you name it, to go ahead and get certain things popped off. We're not to the level that we need to, and of course we need more people with actually doing things on the actual out there in the real world. But here on social media and stuff like that, we're playing a part. People have had we've had rallies and everything else that people have launched on social media. So it's not perfect, and of course we need more things. We need more people, and we need to I guess you can have more action taking place as well too. But things have actually transpired from a lot of stuff that just happened in these actual spaces and posting information and material. All kind of different things have happened that we made things go viral. That even think about it, major news outlets are using the vernacular that people use in these spaces and online and everything else. They're starting to use it as well too. So people are taking notice. They're listening. They're seeing what's going on. So yeah, it at times it's really slow, but it's gaining some steam. It's picking up or whatever too. So everybody plays a part in that. So definitely don't feel that your contribution is going unnoticed. People are actually looking at this stuff right here. It's a reason that a lot of stuff we do post on social media and stuff like that, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. The whole, I know people think that's a conspiracy, but there's a such thing as being shadow banned. People see that like, oh no, I'm not putting this up here, whatever. There's a lot of stuff that we post that would be gaining a lot more traction if it wasn't being shadow banned. So folks are looking. Folks don't like a lot of the stuff we're saying and whatnot, but they're noticing. You got a lot of these politicians and stuff up here. Now all of a sudden you hear all these politicians up here. They have to talk about reparations. They have to mention it. They don't want to mention it. Begrudgingly, they talk about it, but they have to mention it. Now they're going to do everything they can to weasel their way out of it and not try to do anything for you. That's why they keep talking. Well, yeah, we'll have a commission and we'll have a study and we'll sit down. Yeah, they're looking really to say, yeah, you know what, these niggas are sitting up here. We have to talk about it. We don't want to talk about it. We got to talk about it. Don't promise them anything though. Just say we'll discuss it and we'll think about it, but don't tell them that you're gonna do it. So yeah, a lot of stuff is actually already picking up and stuff. So definitely, guys, you're making a difference. You're definitely making a difference. Trust me, like that. And like I say, No Name, we hold these spaces Monday through Thursday. I think last week we did with 2-3 spaces, and we'll do a couple. We may not do 4 a week like we normally always do, but we're gonna at least do 2-3 a week or whatever. So definitely go ahead. When we'll send out the notifications and stuff like that. So definitely go ahead and check us out, and we hold these spaces and whatnot. So we definitely need your support. That's why I said we definitely need your support, even on the financial end. And we just ask for a little bit. If you got $1 you can contribute on Cash App, and we ain't saying $10, $100, $20. If you got $1, we understand how tight the economy is. We understand people got families, bills. So that's why we say just a little bit. If you got $1 that you can donate, we ask that you think about donating. If you don't have it, we understand. We definitely not trying to force anybody. But if you got $1, Cash App it if you can. $Newstoter, $Newstoter. If you don't have Cash App, we got the Venmo and PayPal up here as well too in the Jumbotron, and same on YouTube. We got it up in the description. Let me go ahead and get to the Black Vanguard. We're gonna get to the Black Vanguard. We're gonna get to Miss Rella. Is Miss Rella still up here? Yeah, we got Rella up here. We got Miss Mel up here. We got Black Pressure up here as well too. I said we got a new speaker up here as well, so we'll get to the new speaker. Matter of fact, let me get to the new speaker right now. Is that Badu?
Yeah, man. Thanks for bringing me up. You guys are all monkeys. You guys are all black. You guys are all niggers. You guys don't.
No. Let this cave dweller talk. Let him speak, because you at least you had enough manners to sit back there and wait until I got to you. So I guess you were sitting on the back of the bus. And I'm sure that your boyfriend just stretched out your anus. So go ahead and speak. Go ahead and speak.
No homos.
Go ahead and cough out the semen in your mouth. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, thank you. I have civilized, but
I know that meth is a hell of a drug, isn't it?
No, you guys are actually most likely to be homosexual. But anyways.
Listen, how many cinder blocks? How many cinder blocks did you need to move your trailer into that new trailer park? How many cinder blocks did you go to Home Depot or did you go to Lowe's? Tell us.
How many black dudes did your sister screw?
Is your sister and your uncle still getting it on? His granddaddy is his daddy.
You would never say that in a nigga's face. You a hoe like your mama. You a hoe like your
he would get chin check. He would get chin check. If you was down south, you would get jawed. You know that. But let him speak. Let him speak. Go ahead. Tell us about what time are you gonna dip your snuff and go date your sister tonight? Come on, tell us. Go ahead.
Yeah, listen, right. The reason why you niggers, right, don't deserve reparations, right, because you guys are actually a net negative to our society.
Yeah, you a negative. You come from Caucasoid Neanderthal. You a Caucasoid Neanderthal.
Hey, everybody, stay on your microphone. We got this. Stay on your microphone. The host and the co-host, we got this loser right here. Okay, we got this loser. I know you suffer from penis envy, but go ahead and talk to us. Go. We'll let you spit a little. We'll go ahead and let you talk a little bit of trash for a little bit. Go ahead.
Yeah, you marked a whole bunch of BBCs, yo. Almost.
Yeah, so basically, as I was saying, right, you guys make up the most in prison for demographics wise. You guys commit the most homicides, right, and you guys commit 6% of all murders.
Lies.
You guys are not even just statistically violent. You guys are also genetically violent, right? You guys got healthy, right? You guys have the MOA gene, right? You guys have the serial killer gene. Sorry. So the average black person, right? They just go around, they shoot people, they kill people, right? So no, you guys do not deserve reparations. You guys cost more money, actually.
Hey, you're the one with the Neanderthal gene. You're the one that was walking around clubbing your women with clubs. What are you talking about? Dragging your hair? You were the one that we had to tell you. We had to tell you that, hey, that's your mom and that's not your woman. So what are you talking about? You didn't learn how to take baths until the dark ages. So what are you talking about?
Hey, family tree, brother. The family tree. You know what I'm saying?
It wasn't until the dark ages that you learned how to take baths. What are you talking about here?
And also, they commit the most mass shootings. They just killed over 100-some people over in Maine. Which is white crime and shit.
Let's go.
White crime, Maine and shit.
Okay, he bounced. He bounced, y'all. He disconnected. He disconnected. He bounced. Hey.
They all on the news and shit, leaning over like zombies in the new mic.
Hey, real quick. He bounced. He got up out of here. We didn't kick him out. He went ahead and he left or whatever. So let me go ahead. Let me give a.
How you doing, sister? How you doing? I'm gonna be on our next comedy show, yo. You know what I'm saying? Say one.
Let me give a shout out real quick to Miss Triggers as well too for her donation on Cash App. But yeah, occasionally we'll get a troll. We don't get trolls in here like we used to, but occasionally when they come in here, we'll let them try. And he tried, but he failed. But let's go ahead and get to the Black Vanguard. We're gonna get to the Black Vanguard. We're gonna get to Miss Rella. We're gonna get to Miss Mel, and we're gonna get to Black Pressure. And then we're gonna go ahead and end it for the night, guys.
Yeah, that's first I'm gonna discuss that the cage roll of Neanderthal is that don't make no sense. They just had a mass shooting out there in Maine where they killed almost 100% white people. It's white crime. White folks commit over 50-60% of mass shootings are done everywhere done by white folks. So they're true violent people though. And also they do all the high collar shit. It was something out there in Romanian mob over there did a whole bunch of credit card scams out there. So they do all the high white collar, blue collar crimes, do all the high profile stuff. We don't got both shit punishing y'all. They the ones gone and stuff where they transport and stuff over here. So that's a lot. There's number of projection. And also I would discuss this. See, even though I'm not no Democrat or Republican, though I'm politically independent though, but I would say we need to weaponize the Trump presidency to get these immigrants up out of here. Start pressuring the Donald Trump administration, start pressuring them to get these immigrants out the corporations though, because if Donald Trump got enough for your term, most of these people wouldn't be gone by then. They would have, because you notice this though too, that Donald Trump was in there, he was stopping people getting some type of H-1 visas, and he was actually getting rid of a lot of Nigerians already in this country, a lot of Africans and Caribbeans and Afro-Latinos. He was getting rid of them. He was denying their visas, their work permits. So I would say we need to weaponize the Trump administration. We get back in here to get these immigrants up out of here. That's all I got to say.
Appreciate you tonight, Black Vanguard. Thank you. Let me go ahead and get to my girl, Rella. Rella, go ahead and unmute your mic.
I can go after Black Pressure.
Black Pressure actually last, but if I'll go to Mel. You want me to go to Mel and come back to you, or?
Sure. I don't even see Mel on the stage anymore.
Oh, Mel must have disconnected. Oh, okay.
Yep.
Well,
I
I
didn't know if Moo or Black Pressure got to speak yet.
I'll let Black Pressure go then. Black Pressure spoke earlier, but go ahead, Pressure.
Hey, mine is short. So, like the ladies had spoke earlier, I know Trouble brought it up, and then I think the sister, I forgot her name, means business or something like that. I think I'm getting it wrong. She brought it up. A couple of the fellas brought it up. This what they said that the Native Africans come to the United States and they don't respect our history. They don't respect us. They don't respect our plight, and they didn't have to fight for the things we have to fight for. But this is the conundrum about those niggas that do that. This is the just really the ultimate conundrum about these people. And I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna say it skillfully. Okay, what's sad about those people that come here and disrespect us like that? Like I think even DJ brought it up, and Brother Mooku brought it up. There are people, they come out here and outright deny white supremacy. And what's sad is the transatlantic slave trade. Now, a lot of you got to listen to this part. As a global money machine, started in Africa. Every European country colonized that continent. From the French, the Spanish, the Portuguese, the British, the Russians. That every white country colonized that continent. And nigga, you come out here and play a fool and act and say white supremacy don't exist and talk about what white supremacy and y'all niggas lazy and this and that. And like I go back, as a global money machine, Africa is where all this shit that we dealing with now, that's where it jumped off. And I'll mute up and listen.
All right. Appreciate that, Pressure. Let me go ahead and get to Miss Rella. Rella, you ready to go now or what?
I am. I'm ready. So I'm just going to say this, and definitely for people again who are new to the introduction to the Descendants, Freeman, FBA, ADOS, and those of the like who have been sounding the alarm. When we talked about Kamala Harris and Barack Obama and their ethnic makeup, it was not to be divisive. It was to paint a picture of the difference between the descendants and people who actually come under the cloak of blackness and utilize that blackness as a benefit until it's time for them to be recognized in their successes. Then their ethnicity and their people group and their haplogroups and their genealogy gets to come out and it gets to be exalted and recognized and put on a pedestal as how this person became to be. That is not happening to the descendants because the people, again, who come here do not have the knowledge and they do not have the information we have because their groups of people are running for public office in legislation. And it's not just Africans. We're talking about immigrants, people who are now classified or under the guise of minority migrants. They are in positions of authority. They can change legislation. They can call out in school districts and dictate how education is supposed to be looked at, how children are supposed to be learned information, and they can deny information on the school board level and in real life on the collegiate level just by way of passing legislation or not passing or enforcing certain laws, because everything comes down to what's written in documents. I say it and I'm going to say it again. A lot of people in this space is not new. But I think that the people who tend to be, I think what Trouble pointed out, asleep at the wheel, which is why what happened in that school happened. They ignore it. The love is love people. They're the people that we don't see color. They colorblind people. We are the people who don't be divisive people. Those people are causing more harm and erasure, instead of being like they did with the DARE guy who used to come around to the schools to teach about drugs and the different types of drugs. That's how it should be when it comes to what's happening in communicating different types of ethnicities in the representation for descendants throughout the schools and throughout our communities, and why we are being harmed and ignored. Erasure is not just erasure because somebody happens to be white. Whiteness to me is also a form of erasure because these people come from ethnic groups under the banner of whiteness. So if we cannot get to that point of language, and I think She Means Business, Black Press, she had it right. She Means Business also said it too, that we do need to start to champion and fight and get out there loud enough about laws. You should not be able to call anyone an Akata or a Jarrell or any type of slur that is a descendant. That was the whole point of the OMB movement and us going to the OMB and asking the OMB to give us more classifications to recognize who the descendants are in this country. Because laws are being passed and written, and we are being written out of them, or we are at the bottom. That is erasure. So again, I don't think it's that the things that we are doing is new. I think, like No Name said, if you're new here, it's just now you're getting plugged in. Now people are realizing why social media needs to be used more of a tool versus just a social app, because it allows us to be have quick access to have communication. Now, should this be the platform? It can, but can other platforms be the platform? Yes. You have Black owners, Americans who have created platforms like Funded Socially. I normally on Saturday nights, everybody knows, I'm in Black majority state migration and Black American Homelands room hosting, because there are groups of people who are also working on the ground. We have the virtual, we have Newstoter, we have people who are trying to finish and go to school. There is a cycle, a new foundation of environments that we're trying to develop, because we do realize we don't have representation with the CBC. We do realize that we don't have representation when it comes to legalities of things, and we need people to get their asses in gear. Excuse my language, Newstoter. All I'm saying is, it's time to get active. And if you're not plugged in, you need to be like Voltron. Find your tribe, find the people around you, and start to pull them in and have the conversation with them. It's going to be a battle. They're going to resist it because they don't want to hear that we somehow are not recognizing other melanated people. When that is not the discussion. The discussion is there is a conversation around Blackness, and we are not included. When Blackness in America and across the globe, the Negro conversation has always been poignant because of chattel slavery. It's always been poignant because of America. Other groups cannot revolutionize the way in which we have, in the way that we talk. Let me explain that just quick. I'm not saying they have not had revolutions. I'm not saying that they have not fought wars. I'm saying that in this day and time, the Black American, the descendant, is championing a revolution in a language that transcends across the globe. Across the globe. And we get ignored and denigrated and disrespected by other melanated people who claim that we are somehow part of a diaspora that never included us. It only included the melanin piece as long as we went along with the African-centric mindset. That is not the descendants of America. We have our family ties. We have soul ties. There is a total culture in the United States that descendants come from, and that deserves to be respected. Those children should not have to have been subject racial discrimination and denigration, and that should be also a hate crime. It needs to be classified as that. We have to make sure our language is so sharp that these people understand that it's not that we're not coming for business. It's that we are coming for blood and that we mean what we say. So we got to get it together. And we have those conversations in spaces like Black Majority State. Newstoter highlights the news, and we have the conversation. We have other groups of people who are having the conversation who are also travelers. They go around the world. They meet with people. They're developing, and they're Black Americans. Because we cannot be remiss to believe that our economics is also not something that we can't work on when we do. That is very, very important. Because it's going to take money to move around. Some of y'all might end up in jail. I'm going to get y'all out. I'm just saying, I'm not calling it like that. But we have to keep it real. There is a position in the fight for everyone. The protesters, the writers, the professionals, the students, the parents, the fathers, the mothers, the grandparents. Stop excluding people or excluding people because you don't want to have a conversation with them. Start warring and battling with people so we can move this train. It is time to go. Newstoter, DJ, thank you so much for having me on this space. I love always. And Trouble, you better not disappear. I understand that you got to dial it back because you know I do. But your voice and your words and the spirit that God has given you, it is needed. And people need the seeds that you have to lay because our soil needs to be replenished. So please, don't be gone for too long. Okay? And you know I love you. Peace out, everybody. Black Majority State Room.
Yes, he's got it. Black has got a space going. I didn't want to go too long. I know he normally comes on about 9 o'clock or so I wanted to go ahead and I meant to get off a little bit earlier, but the conversation was flowing as well, guys. So DJ, go ahead. I know you had your hand up, then we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna close it out for the night. Shout out to everybody in the space tonight, guys. Thank you for joining us for this Saturday night space. Like I said, this isn't unusual for us, Monday through Thursday, and that's pretty much it. But shout out to all you guys. I definitely appreciate it. Shout out to Kenneth as well too for the contribution on PayPal. But DJ, go ahead and we're gonna go ahead and close it out. And
yeah, I ain't got much to say. Everybody done set it out. Set it all. Shout out to Rella Triple. Yeah, go over to come over to Black Majority Space. Black State of America Radio. But yeah, fam, defend yourself at all costs. Don't let these people put their hands on you. Get your 52 blocks up. Get your 52 blocks up. That's all I'm saying, man. We used to whoop these people, man. I don't understand how they putting their hands on us. You know what I'm saying? But our elders and some of us, we ain't teaching our kids, hey, yo, this is how you handle these people. You know what I mean? It's a problem. You know what I mean? Get your 52 blocks up, man. Go ahead, man. We love y'all.
That's right. Peace, guys. I hope y'all enjoy the rest of your weekend. We'll be back Monday. Check us out. Make sure you visit newstoter.com to stay up to date on breaking Black news in Black America. Also, retweet out the content as well, too, guys, when you see it. Thank you for your support. Go definitely catch Black Majority State Space. It's on right now. We'll see you guys Monday. Peace.
Peace. Shout out to Straight No Chasing.